Chester.
A man drove his car into a crowd, ramming the people outside. Also, apparently got out of the car and with a knife started to stab as well.
2 people are dead, 3 wounded. The attacker was killed by police. At New York's LaGuardia Airport, a low-speed collision late last night between 2 Delta regional jets.
Their right wing clipped our nose.
That's a pilot in audio we got from Live ATC saying the wing of a plane getting ready to take off hit the nose of his plane that had just landed. No passengers were hurt, but a flight attendant had a minor injury. In Indonesia, they fear they won't find any more students alive under the rubble of a school that collapsed on Monday with no signs of life anymore. 59 kids remain unaccounted for, 5 others confirmed dead. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A high-speed chase turning fatal. Skies are partly cloudy. It's 59 in the Circle City. The high at 83 today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:02. The Johnson County coroner identifying the man who died in a crash on I-65 last night as 30-year-old Marco Antonio Pena Morales from Chicago. Police identified him as an aggravated assault suspect.
Canine, you're advising he's still in the car?
We can't see. No communication from the car.
No communication from the car.
Police say he was driving a truck when officers tried pulling him over, but they say he refused and started a lengthy pursuit heading northbound on the interstate. He later crashed the truck and died. IMPD and Indiana State Police are both investigating. A man with a long and dangerous criminal history is in custody again, and his arrest is gaining the attention of some local and state leaders. 41-year-old Courtney Booz had been arrested nearly 100 times before police say he stabbed a 69-year-old man at a gas station in Lawrence earlier this week. Indy FOP President Rick Snyder can't believe this guy was allowed to walk the streets.
When you're arrested 99 times, I think it begs the question, what's the number? What's the number of times where somebody in a black robe finally says, you know what, I don't think this guy is getting it?
That was Snyder on the Hammer and Nigel show Wednesday. He called out Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears for already reducing his charge from attempted murder to aggravated battery. A Wisconsin homicide suspect is found and arrested in Clark County. Deputies located Daminta Hambright Tuesday at a local truck stop by using flock camera technology. He then took off in a stolen vehicle and led deputies on a chase. After crashing the vehicle, deputies say they found Hambright trying to hide from them in a soybean field. Hambright is facing charges of resisting law enforcement in Clark County, along with the homicide warrant in Wisconsin. The average price of gas today in the state of Indiana is still at $3.07 a gallon, according to Gas Buddy. In Indianapolis, gas is an even $3 on average. A member of the Colts secondary is calling it a career just 4 games into the season. Cornerback Xavier Howard abruptly announced his retirement Wednesday. The 4-time Pro Bowler signed with the Colts in August after 1 year away from the NFL. The 32-year-old said in a social media post that he is no longer willing to put football before his family. And the season is over for the Cincinnati Reds as they are bumped from the postseason by the LA Dodgers in the wildcard round. Last night's game in LA ending 8-4. And then today, the Chicago Cubs are in a decisive Game 3 of their series with the San Diego Padres. First pitch is at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. For traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
Hey, Jared. Inbound 69, stop and go 106, 282nd. Northbound 65, slow on the south side, Raymond to the south split. Traffic sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Bear. Traffic on the 5s at WIBC Traffic.
You probably have a dream retirement in mind, but do you know how to get there? The difference between dreaming and living your ideal retirement comes down to having the right plan. And that's where Howard Bailey Financial can help. At Howard Bailey Financial, we've created a free retirement toolkit to help you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Text DREAM to 888-262-1104. to download your free retirement toolkit that includes a retirement checklist, Social Security decisions guide, estate planning guide, and more. We want your dream retirement to be your reality. And it starts by texting DREAM to 888-262-1104. Let us help you take the next step toward the retirement of your dreams. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Up to 50% off and 2.99% financing, plus receive an additional $550 off your project.
Because at B Windows,
we mean business. We mean business.
This hour powered by Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard Air dealer.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Sunny and warm this afternoon. Temperatures 10 degrees above average, a high of 83. Mostly clear, quiet, and cool overnight, a low of 59. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Time for Kendall and Casey.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey, I have a big announcement.
Oh, you do? What is it?
I hope everyone's sitting down for this.
Okay. I am. I'm sitting. Kevin's sitting.
Came as a great shock to me. And I had to read this several times and then process it on my own. So you may want to, if you're traveling down the road at any sort of high rate of speed, make sure both hands are on your steering wheel. If you're by yourself, I hate to say this out loud because it's come as just a real kick in the gut to me. I think the governor's a liar.
That's the big announcement? Shocker. What? Someone in your government lied to you?
Like, I think he's got a serious problem with lying.
And what are you referring to?
Well, all the time.
I was going to say, is there something specific?
Well, just about everything. So our friends at the Capitol Chronicle, they're the real MVPs of yesterday and today because they've done several great pieces. But Braun has this media availability press conference, whatever you want to call it. Mike Braun, the governor of the state of Indiana. And he gets asked about a variety of things. And one of the things that he gets asked about is this property tax reform bill, which is universally loathed by any person that doesn't make their existence in that state house. I mean, you can't find, on totally opposite sides of the aisle, people hate it for a variety of different reasons, but it's the most perfect government bill because it managed to solve zero issues and piss everyone off.
Yeah, so the law delivers minimal savings to homeowners, but also creates these major budget shortfalls everywhere else.
And so he gets asked about this yesterday because there was a Capitol Chronicle had a big article about these local governments who are saying, look, now this is my description of this, not theirs, but because we don't save any money and we just spend oblivion and we bond based on dollars rather than having thought at any point, hey, maybe the gravy train's going to run out at some point. We got to stash a few nuts away for a long winter. These local governments now are very upset because with the short-term impact to their revenue, we don't say cuts, you don't say lost because they're still infinitely ahead of where they were 4 or 5 years ago. Don't ever let a local government person talk about whether it's a school or a town or whatever about the money they lost. They didn't lose anything. It's not missing. It just went back, some of it, a fraction of it went back to you, and they're still way ahead of where they were. So don't ever let me get away with this. But they're saying, look, we bonded based on an understanding of revenue, and now because of an impact to that revenue, and they don't say this, but I will, but because we can't manage our money properly, now it's going to affect our ability to pay these bonds back and the interest rate at which we can get these bonds. Notice they never stop about talking. They never talk about stopping the spending. It's just how do we borrow more money going forward? And so they hate it. We obviously hate it because it didn't do a fraction of what the governor had promised in his campaign. And the reality is within 4 to 5 years, you're going to probably see yourself with higher property taxes because they're not addressing assessments. And there now are numerous other local taxes which will probably go up, which means you'll end up paying a lot more in taxes 4 or 5 years from now. Like nobody on either side of the aisle, whether you're the most ardent, give the schools whatever they want, or you're the most ardent, I've been screwed beyond belief for too long, we got to do something. Nobody likes this bill. And in our famous Last Supper that Braun and I had together, in fact, there was no food, but our last meeting that we had together, Braun admitted to me, him and the lieutenant governor were there. Of course, the lieutenant governor was saying nothing because he later admitted he didn't understand anything about any of this. But he was sitting there, just his head nodding in agreement with whatever the governor was saying. But the governor told me, well, this is the first shot.
Mhm.
We're coming back for more.
Correct.
You wait till next year.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, what are those things? And his response was, and I said, exactly. And they, no, you got to trust us. We're coming back. We're coming back for more. And I think the lieutenant governor then, because again, he's admitted to various people, he knows nothing about property taxes, even though he ran on it. He said out loud, they're coming back for more. This is the opening shot. Well, yesterday, Braun at this press conference gets asked, because everybody's mad about Senate Bill 1, hey, special session, would you be willing to do something? Would you be willing to, you've heard from all sides, would you be willing to make changes? You know what he said? Smooch my butt cheeks. Nothing's changing because, quote, generally taxpayers are happy with the results of it.
Mm-hmm. And that's the message they have been putting out. I'm really wondering, I'm curious if there are some GOP officials who actually are very critical of it, but are afraid to say anything.
Well,
they don't want to be kicked out of the club.
Well, look, we're going to have Ed Delaney, Democrat state rep, on at 9:30 because he's been very critical of this. And he said, hey, I would absolutely support a special session to fix the property tax bill. Right? And I'm going to ask him what percentage of the 150 people in the General Assembly he thinks not only read the bill but understand it. Because we've asked various state reps about this, including Carrie Hamilton, and she said maybe 10%. So that'd be 15, right? So you have people who have no idea what they voted on. They were told at the last minute what they were going to vote on because this bill never even showed up, what became the law, until about a month left to go in the whole process.
Right.
Braun has admitted numerous times, including those, well, I don't even know if they're well-meaning anymore. I used to think they were very well-meaning, but just getting deceived people who brag about going to the governor's residence every so often. But they keep doubling down on this guy no matter how many times they catch him in bold-faced lies. And so I don't even know if you can say that's well-meaning anymore. If you just catch someone lying over and over and over again, and you're like, no, he's great. We trust him. It's going to be wonderful. He was supposedly telling those people, oh, I've got an ace up my sleeve.
What's the ace?
We're coming back for more.
What is it?
Yeah, but now he's like,
are they going
nope,
to address the assessments?
Nothing.
Is that the ace up his sleeve?
Casey, taxpayers generally are happy with the results
generally.
of it.
And you know what? If he just keeps saying it, maybe you'll believe it. Yeah, it's like he's trying to convince himself.
It is the pathological level of lying by this guy on everything. Like, it's the same guy who wants you to believe now that he's so concerned about your electric bills. He's so concerned about you as a ratepayer. But, sir, just during the legislative session, you signed a bill that is going to raise everybody's electric rates. No, I'm very concerned about you and what you're going to, like, I mean, I would say I don't know how the guy looks himself in the mirror each day, but, I mean, I think there's a certain level of narcissism and sociopathic behavior from a lot of these politicians, certainly the people who rise to the level of a governor, where you just don't have any sense of obligation to anybody but yourself. And whatever you got to say in the moment to fit the narrative that you need, that's what you'll do because that's what you're trained to do. And let's face it, at this point, Mike Braun is a career politician. He did the same process. We can cut this outsider crap. He went through the same process that almost all these people do, which is he elevated himself one step at a time, from school board to state rep to senator to governor. He's a career politician, which means he lies like a career politician, and he is lying once again. Now, why anybody would give this guy the time of day is beyond me. You can't trust anything he says, and he sucks at his job. That's the biggest part of it. I could almost deal with the lying if he were doing things that were good for humanity, good for taxpayers, good for the people, running an efficient government, because I know all these people lie. But the idea that not only is a pathological liar, he sucks at his job. So you're getting nothing, Casey.
No, and I'm supposed to be happy about it. But here's the good news, Rob. Indiana is good for business.
Yes, if you're a megacorp, it's great for you.
Right.
If you're Google or Meta, yeah, there's a reason you want to come here, because they're gonna take money from us and give it to them.
I always love when I used to hear, but it's a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to raise a business.
Yeah, let's ponder that for a second as we go to the break, because we got to talk about how much these statewide office holders spent on travel.
Oh, yeah.
This is fascinating, but let's ponder this. What is the compelling reason to move to Indiana?
Well, you know what? The median income has dropped.
No, let's take. I don't want to know. Let's take a break. Let everybody ponder in their cars or their homes for the next 4 or 5 minutes. What is the compelling reason, if you were to stop somebody, you should move to Indiana because blank?
Okay, it's Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
America has a new favorite beer. It's Mick Ultra. If you remember, Modelo was the #1 beer in America. They're blaming Trump. The Trump administration's immigration policies have affected its sales.
At least Cracker Barrel came out and said, hey, we screwed up. We're going to go back to the way things were. Bud Light never did.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Retirement isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about knowing how to play the next movement. Without a plan, your savings can feel like noise instead of music. I'm Jason Hutchins with Guardian Wells Financial. I've seen too many families head into retirement without the guidance they need. That's why I wrote Orchestrate Your Retirement, a guide to composing a financially tuned plan. I'd like to mail you a copy at no cost. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929. Inside this book, you'll find real-world strategies on turning savings into income, making smarter Social Security decisions, and reducing a bite of taxes in retirement. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929 for your book today. Don't wait. Supplies are limited, and when they're gone, they are gone. Orchestrate your retirement. Discover the rhythm of a confident future.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guardian Wells Financial is not affiliated with Creative One Wealth or with any government agency. Licensed insurance professionals.
Call 317-660-0929. Retirement isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about knowing how to play the next movement. Without a plan, your savings can feel like noise instead of music. I'm Jason Hutchins with Guardian Wells Financial. I've seen too many families head into retirement without the guidance they need. That's why I wrote Orchestrate Your Retirement, a guide to composing a financially tuned plan. I'd like to mail you a copy at no cost. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929. Inside this book, you'll find real-world strategies on turning savings into income, making smarter Social Security decisions, and reducing a bite of taxes in retirement. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929 for your book today. Don't wait. Supplies are limited, and when they're gone, they are gone. Orchestrate your retirement. Discover the rhythm of a confident future.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guardian Wells Financial is not affiliated with Creative One Wealth or with any government agency. Licensed insurance professionals.
Call 317-660-0929.
Stuck in a job that just isn't getting it done? Maybe it's time to go for IT. Whether you're just starting out, switching careers, or a military veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you launch a rewarding career in IT in months. No prior experience needed. Why spend years getting a traditional degree when your future in IT can start right now? Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Your most powerful upgrade? Your career. Go for it. Go for IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers. Come see the full line of breathtaking Lincoln vehicles at Indiana's premier Lincoln dealership. From the moment you arrive at Tom Roush Lincoln, you'll know you've arrived. Shop over 200 new Lincolns in our state-of-the-art family-owned and operated dealership with no pressure. Just the award-winning service and respect you deserve, plus complimentary pickup and delivery for service. Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text Tamara and Nigel to 46220 or visit indianaunclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
I'm Tyler at Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling. We do maintenance on all makes and models. It's never too late to schedule your maintenance tune-up at PricePointComfort.com.
Price Point Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air dealer.
Dirty Diego, oh, Dirty Diego, oh, Dirty Diego, oh, Dirty Diego, oh.
Now, Casey, a little known fact.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to the state Republican bylaws, making a theme song called Dirty Diego will not put you in bad standing.
Oh, okay. You could do that.
But telling people you should vote for somebody other than Diego, that would put you in bad standing.
As long as that other person is outside of the Republican Party.
It's a Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. You just heard the docile tones of one Jerry Lopez singing the theme song Dirty Diego, a song that he wrote and recorded about our Secretary of State Diego Morales because, well, Diego is a dirty, rotten, unethical, corrupt individual. And a new article out from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle about just how much
Boy, howdy.
our state lawmakers and cabinet members, or statewide office holders, I should say, and cabinet members, are spending of your money on travel. And wouldn't you know, Case, who the big grand prize winner was?
Oh, gosh, Rob, who is it?
Well, it's the dirty, rotten, unethical, corrupt Secretary of State Diego Morales coming in, blowing away the field, Casey, spending a whopping $33,000 of taxpayer money on travel.
A third of the total cost went to one guy, one office holder.
He being Diego Morales, Indiana Secretary of State, spent almost 5 times in terms of public money what the governor spent on travel.
Yep, he
the
reported,
Secretary of State.
Yes, he did. He reported 19 out-of-state trips, and some. He also went, globally.
Well, so the Indiana Capitol Chronicle has a fabulous new report out. So there was a new law that was passed
Because of him.
Diego, yes, where you now have to report your state-funded travel. Now, in the most state government move ever, because the Republicans don't actually give a damn about the taxpayers. They just want to check a box and make you believe they care. You don't actually have to put any detail, and everybody just writes their own report. So, for example, the lieutenant governor describes a bunch of travel and then doesn't give you any prices on anything, including one time we've now determined taxpayers paid for him to go jump out of an airplane.
Yeah. It was an Army visit.
Yeah, which was him jumping out of an airplane.
To Kentucky.
Yeah, which was him jumping out of an airplane.
Yes.
It was filmed. It's not like it didn't happen. Unless he's taking multiple Army trips to Kentucky, you, the taxpayer, paid for Lieutenant Governor to jump out of an airplane.
Yeah.
Okay, but
he was one of the lower spending ones, though.
Well, do we know? He wasn't reporting a bunch of stuff. He just said, smooch my butt cheeks. Here's my report. No dollar amounts. Thank you. Have a nice life. Do we know?
No.
Now,
but according to the official documents that were turned in, which, by the way, there's not one specific form. Like, some people could just put it in notes and turn that in. Somebody else could do an Excel spreadsheet and turn that in. However you want to do it.
Let me repeat.
Just let us know.
Let me repeat. You, the taxpayer, in some shape, form, or fashion, paid for the lieutenant governor to go jump out of an airplane. And somehow that was helping the U.S. Army. That's where your money's going. Hey, no money to help you with property taxes. No money to help you with roads without raising the gas tax every year. No money to balance our budget without raising taxes by $1 billion. But somehow we had money. Now, he's not going to report what it was because he won't put a dollar amount down. But you, the taxpayer, paid for the lieutenant governor to go jump out of an airplane.
You also paid for the Secretary of State to go to Chicago 9 times.
Now, the most important part of this, and I'm sure what everybody's wondering is, because it was, and by the way, the standard for this reporting, which there really isn't a standard because you apparently don't have to put dollar amounts, which what good is that to the taxpayer if we don't know what we paid for what, and there's no actual organized form. It has to be reported for trips, quote, taken in an official capacity. I mean, I hope the legislature didn't pull a muscle or strain something putting these requirements together, because you want to talk about whatever below the bare minimum was, that's what they put into place with this. Now, everybody knows that trip to India was taken in an official capacity because Diego said his trip to India was taken in an official capacity. Casey, would you like to guess how much reporting on that trip to India appears on this document?
Yeah. I'll guess. All of it?
No, it would be none of it.
Oh, okay.
You're looking for none of it.
Yeah, none of it.
So none of it. You got no information. The Secretary of State disappeared in an official capacity, which he validated based on his emails, press releases, etc., that it was an official trip, and he will not tell you. He will not tell you a damn thing about who paid for that trip or show you any proof that he paid the money back. He also apparently went to Vancouver at some point.
Vancouver, India, and Hungary. He said Hungary wasn't part of the official list because it was personal and funded by a conservative group.
No, remember he was ping-ponging back and forth. Remember he gave some speech where he was the Secretary of State, and then he was like 20 minutes later, now I'm on personal time.
Right.
Professional, personal, professional, personal. $33,000 of taxpayer money this guy spent traveling.
Yes.
His job is to administer.
He's the winner.
He's an administrator, Casey.
Correct.
That's it. That's his job. He has no actual power other than that given to him by the General Assembly, which is to administer businesses and elections.
He spent more than the governor.
5 times more than the governor.
More than the state treasurer.
And
more than the comptroller.
And you paid
more than the lieutenant governor.
You paid for the lieutenant governor to jump out of an airplane.
Yeah, I did. I hope it was fun. I hope he enjoyed himself.
So I come back to the question I asked at the break. When you have these politicians who clearly, and Rokita's report, we'll go ahead and get into this. Nikki Kelly's going to join us at 10:15 to talk, because she did part of the reporting on this from the Capitol Chronicle. When you have all of these lawmakers, whether the statewides, the legislators, you saw how people like Jennifer Ruth Green, the former, the hell was her title? She's been gone so long now.
Public safety.
Public safety secretary.
Secretary, yeah.
How she was allegedly abusing the office. Like, you see all of these people, and you say they don't give a damn about you at all. They don't care about your money. They don't care about you being able to make ends meet. $33,000, Casey.
What was Diego doing in Vancouver? 9 trips to Chicago, Rob. 9 times.
And so it come back to the question, this is what everybody should ponder today. If you were to tell somebody who doesn't live here, the compelling reason to move to Indiana is blank. And that's what I want people to ponder throughout the course of the day. All right, so State Rep Ed Delaney is going to join us next. He's a Democrat, and he says the property tax bill really screwed up, and he would totally support a special session for fixing property taxes.
He joins us next on 93 WIBC.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
We're now into day 2. Sunny and 60 in Indianapolis. The high today around 83. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Lawmakers remain deadlocked as the government shutdown enters its second day.
The Democrats' funding plan restores provisions allowing for Obamacare subsidies. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer accuses Republicans of, quote, lying about illegal immigrants getting health care aid. Mass firings could begin this weekend. President Trump says the shutdown gives him the chance to, quote, clear out dead wood, waste, and fraud. About 20 bipartisan senators are discussing a way out of the shutdown. The sides are considering a short-term government funding extension, plus a brief renewal of Obamacare subsidies.
Fox's Chad Pergam reporting. No votes are happening in the Senate today, but another test vote on the GOP funding plan comes Friday. 4 people are hurt in an attack at a synagogue in England on Yom Kippur. Police say a car drove into a group of people in Manchester this morning, and another person was stabbed. And an artificial intelligence giant just became the world's largest startup. OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT, is now valued at $500 billion. Current and former employees recently sold about $6.6 billion worth of stock to investors. The company is now worth more than SpaceX. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is down 4 points, 46,441. The S&P 500 is up 19 points to 6,711. And the NASDAQ soars 151 points so far, 24,800. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
The fall season continues at Sundown Gardens. Visit the Garden Center for a large selection of locally grown mums, pumpkins, gourds, and fall decor. Now's a great time to shop and save. Happening now at Sundown Gardens, save 50% on all pottery and herbaceous perennials. The nursery is still full of a great fall selection of trees and shrubs. Save 50% on select nursery items. Sundown Gardens, located on the corner of 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. SundownGardens.com.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You can say goodbye to cracked, stained, and dirty old floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out the color. Upgrade your home today by calling Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. And they come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. The phone number, 877-417-0635. You can find them online, too. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com.
Thinning hair? This year, grow your hair back like I did. Call 317-522-2995 or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com.
Pierce Jewelers has a beautiful, warm, and friendly showroom, and their showcase of estate jewelry is constantly changing. They're always purchasing and looking for new, old treasures, and your fine jewelry may be worth more than you think. The staff at Pierce Jewelers, a trusted name since 1968, will help you understand and evaluate your memorable pieces, and they'll make sure you receive superb service and expert counsel. They'll guide you through the process, explain each piece, and why the item's value is a certain amount. No appointment needed, but there are times they'll need to take in your items to further examine and evaluate them. Pierce Jewelers doesn't charge for this process, nor is there any requirement for you to sell your items. Pierce Jewelers will make sure you receive a competitive price for your valuables, and you'll walk away knowing you've received their best and honest offer. Call Pierce Jewelers today at 317-574-3333 to learn more about selling your jewelry and other valuable precious items.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
It's time. You've been putting off that kitchen or bath remodel long enough. What are you waiting for? Get started today with Boer Remodeling. Boer Remodeling customer Kathy had a bath remodel with Boer. Kathy, talk a little bit about your experience.
Our experience with Boer has been terrific. The process was so easy and seamless. When we decided to do a larger remodel of our first floor, Boer was the first company we thought of hiring.
And were you happy with the results?
The results are amazing, and we are so happy with our home and the work that Boer did.
Peter is another recent Boer Remodeling customer with a new kitchen. Peter, what was the best part about working with Boer?
We especially liked the active participation that we were able to have in selection of stone for the countertops. Really came out beautiful. The cabinets also came out very, very well.
The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. They'll guide you through the entire process. Start with a free consultation. Talk to Boer Remodeling today. That's BOOHER, BoerRemodeling.com.
Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning. Owner Robert Kirby says more and more customers are looking at Mitsubishi mini splits as a way to help heat and cool those smaller spaces.
So we've used them in all applications, whether it be barn dominiums, sunrooms, garages, she sheds, basements, home offices. Give us a call and see if it's a good option for you.
Just go to KirbyHeating.com. Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning is your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer.
Casey, you may have heard, as much as the governor wants to spin as otherwise, people are very upset about the property tax bill.
He thinks it's pretty good.
So he had this press conference yesterday and came out and basically was like, yeah, if we have a special session, we're not doing anything with property taxes because everybody's pretty happy with it. And I messaged you. I said, what planet is this guy living on?
I think you said he's on Treasure Island.
Yeah. I said use some phraseology we can't use on these very
flowery
public, family-oriented airwaves. But our next guest, I think he's in line with the property tax bill. Not that great. Ed Delaney, State Representative of Indianapolis, joins us now. Ed, hello.
Good morning, team. How are we doing?
I'm doing all right. Okay, so let's start with you were featured in an article in the Capitol Chronicle, and you were saying, look, the property tax bill is bad for a variety of reasons, but one of the reasons is the uncertainty and havoc it's causing with local governments because they bond against those dollars that come in.
Right. It is critical, and the governor doesn't seem to be concerned. My view is that historically the most important people in the State House were the bond lawyers. I'm not just kidding about that, because if they think that your proposal does not make the bonds that the cities sell to the taxpayers, to the public, if they don't make those safe and secure, that's very bad. And what's bad is the interest rates will go up. That's what's bad. So Hoosiers who want to finance local government will find they're paying more. And so I think they missed that signal. Now, I don't think it's the end of the world here yet, but there's trembles, and usually our Republican friends are bragging about how we have the most perfect bond rating and everybody loves us. So this is disturbing. It's one of the disturbing. The other thing is, of course, all the local government leaders are losing their minds because they've been cut on revenue, and in a series of cuts that go out, 6 years, and they don't know quite what to do about it.
Okay, so like town where I live, when I was an elected official 10 years ago, our budget was like $45 million. It's like $87 million is what they're proposing this year. It's pretty hard for me to feel bad about local government when in 10 years the budget has doubled. Inflation's bad. It's not that bad. Can't there be some middle ground? I think you've kind of proposed that before, where we still fund the police, the fire, the roads, the bridges, the sidewalks, but there's a lot of excess expense going on.
Well, there's this lifestyle thing, which, the Republicans preach it, and they're not all wrong on this. You want people to be attracted to a community. That's why we have all these bikeways now. Have these parks like Westfield's got this amazing complex. So that's what we're trying to sell to people. So you can move to Indiana, you can have a relatively low price but very nice house. You can pay relatively low taxes, and also you can have these, amenities as they call them. That's an attractive program. But on the thing about the money, yes, it's gone up a great deal. But remember the way the psychology of local politicians is. We're moving forward, doing more interesting and beautiful things for our town, and we're planning on doing it for 10 years, and we've budgeted for growth, and we've signed contracts to build these parks and do these things and to pay our police more. And if I'm in Westfield, I've budgeted for a new fire station every year or two. So I'm planning, and all of a sudden, The General Assembly says, well, folks, while you were at lunch, we cut your revenue stream. So they're going kind of crazy.
Ed Delaney, Democrat State Representative of Indianapolis, is our guest.
Yeah, now you had mentioned that you would be in favor of a special session, not necessarily to address redistricting, but to address Senate Enrolled Act 1. In your mind, what would you like to see happen if there were to be a special session?
I think we need to be mindful that we should play fair when we cut somebody's revenue. In the past, what we've done is supplement them. So, for example, Mitch Daniels, when he did his big tax reform, which was a real broad reform, he pumped more state money into public education, thereby freeing up some of the local property tax for other purposes.
Yes, they raised the sales tax. He said that money's going to go pay the teachers.
Right. And so the locals were not as badly hurt. So they got less property tax, but they had more money come from the state. This time we're doing the opposite. We're not giving them more money. We're just taking away their money. So it's out of balance.
What percentage of your colleagues do you think, one, read what became Senate Bill 1, and two, understood it? So there's 150 of you guys. Of the 150, what do you think the number is on both of those?
We won't get past 20. And that's a serious problem. And we didn't have a healthy debate. We didn't have bond lawyers coming, testifying before the committee. Too much is done in private. That's one of the problems of the supermajority. They go have a caucus. They don't fight among themselves because they don't want to publicly fight among themselves. They do it privately, and they come out with a package. And the witnesses are afraid to testify against it because it might get worse if they testify against it. So, yeah, this is a problem, by the way. A true problem is that we got a small number of people who deeply understand this, both in the lobby world and in the Legislative Services Agency, and they're getting to have even more gray hair than I do. So that's the problem.
Have you talked to anyone? Because Braun came out yesterday and was like, "Oh, people are very happy with this bill." Have you talked to anyone, any of your constituents who are like, "This is awesome"?
No, because they're smarter than that. My good wife was the real politician in my household. Used to say, "There's no such thing as a tax cut." And I'd say, "Well, what do you mean they cut the tax?" She says, "Nobody ever recognizes it once it passes and once the headlines are over. You don't open up your tax bill next year and say, 'Oh, I'm down 22 cents and take out the one from last year.' You don't do that. So you're not going to get a lot of credit, let's be fair. You're not going to get a lot of credit for it. But if the citizen realizes what we've said is you're going to pay less property tax, but you're probably going to pay more local income tax.
That's the big one.
Imposed by your local government, if they're brave enough to impose it. That's an if. People caught on to that, and I think they're going to catch on to it more.
So let's work through that. Ed Delaney, Democrat State Rep, is our guest. That's the thing, right? Because the assessments don't stop going up. So in several years, you'll see, or a couple of years, depending on where you're at, that cut will go away. And now these local governments have the ability, unlike before, to raise your income tax. So you may end up with no property tax relief and higher income taxes.
There may be some more positive benefits for the property tax owner over time. I think that's true over the 6 years, but no, I think the risk is that the increase in local income tax will overcompensate for that, more than make up for that. And remember, we're going to let the cities independently now raise their local income tax. So there's going to be a scramble between cities and counties, for example, as to who raises and how much. There'll be a lot of politics about that. So I don't want to overstate. There are some benefits, probably some long-term benefits. It's sad to say that the one group of homeowners that will do poorest is the people at the lowest end, the people with the least expensive homes. They'll actually end up paying a little bit more tax, which is kind of not, I think, what anybody wanted. And that's part of the problem here. You got 3,500 units of government in this state that can tax your property.
Yeah.
How we come up with a bill.
Can you repeat that again?
3,500 units of government that can tax your property. Now, 1,000 of them are the townships, which are under the usual criticism, but still there's 2,500 others. And so it's, school boards, libraries, counties, cities, towns, on and on, fire districts. So how you could ever pass a bill that won't mess up any of them, you can't.
Right. And you had touched on, and I think this is the key issue during the hearing. You win our Common Sense Award. I think I told you at the time.
God forbid.
Because you're the one, Ed Delaney, Democrat State Representative, is our guest, who said the thing that need to be said, which is there are far too many layers of local government, and until we do something about this, we're not going to fix this issue.
That is correct. And the two that you see that are the most obvious, we have 270 roughly school districts. We have 1,000 townships. Consolidation is absolutely mandatory, but no one wants to be the first to go. They don't want to give up whatever perks they have, these local governments. They're used to their situation. They're used to holding a little elected office. So it's a bear. I would do two things. I would provide more revenue to the locals rather than always cutting our state taxes by a hair. I would give more revenue to the locals. But in return, I'd give them even more if they consolidated. There'd be a bonus, a reward. They're not going to do it voluntarily. They're not going to do it because they love the idea. So you've got to give them a positive incentive. We've tried the negative incentive, and we've chickened out, and they've held firm.
That you just hit the nail on the head. You want to run for governor? I mean,
no, I think I'm past that phase. But I would like to be the chief advisor to the next Democrat governor. Okay. That would be my ambition.
Well, you hit the nail on the head though, which is the state talks big and then wimps out.
Yeah.
And these local governments know it's like a game of Survivor, outwit, outlast, outplay, and they know you guys will just give in eventually.
But remember, there are more of them than there are of us. There's only 150 of us. I can't imagine 10,000, I think, of local, if you count every little advisory board and all this, maybe more than 10,000. So they got plenty to do to protect their purse. That's what they're going to do. They have two purses, the one that's in their back pocket and the one that's the public purse.
I have two questions for you. Ed Delaney is joining us, state rep. You had mentioned that the people who truly understand this are aging. What is the answer to that?
Well, I think we need to get both more lawyers and more politicians interested in these bare bones critical things like property taxes. We've got to realize that that's our fundamental responsibility. And getting into social issues from either side, from running lists of people who didn't put the flag at half-mast, that seems to be a governmental function. We're into all this nonsense. So we got to get some people who are policy-oriented, policy-driven. They used to be around, and they still are. We got to get some of these people who are studying accounting or finance or law to come and work for the State House. And we don't have our staff testify. It's very different from Congress. So we do have some staff who are very smart on this stuff, but they don't get up in public and say something.
Why not?
Because that's just not our tradition, okay? And we don't have a lot of lobbyists come and scream. There's a guy named Denny Costerison who, in a very beautiful way, kind of says where we're screwing up, and without offending anybody. But he's about to retire, so
you got to offend some people.
We need more of these people. Yeah.
The other question I have for you, since we asked you to join us to talk about a special session, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about a special session in regards to redistricting.
Well, we don't need it. We don't want it. The Republicans don't want it. I've never seen a situation where the supermajority is going to perhaps have a special session to pass a bill that they don't want to even talk about. If you notice, they're not talking about it. So this is really kind of an unusual form of democratic function, okay? I just think it's dysfunction. So I hope we don't do it. I'm afraid that they will do it. I think the odds are probably in favor of their doing it. And then they'll have a bunch of lawsuits, which they deserve, because there is a racial component to this, unfortunately. More importantly, more broadly, there's a Democratic component. Are we going to say Democrats should have no representation in Congress? At the beginning of this century, we had 5, they had 4. Okay, now we have 2, they have 7, and they're about to say we deserve none. Deserve is the word.
Yeah.
We deserve
and they'll admit it's all political.
It's totally political. The public is not asking for it. So it's unfortunate.
If the governor calls a special session, how much of a heads up do you get?
That's sort of up to him and the speaker. I'd assume at least a week or 2, because people have to schedule things and committee hearings and their deadlines and so forth. So probably have a week or 2's notice. And I think one of the issues will be, I don't think they're in a position to do what I call a one-day cram, where we suspend all the rules and we just march in and we basically pass the bill without any hearings or any falderall. I don't think that'll happen. So say 3-4 weeks from the announcement to the bill actually moves, and then there'll be fig leaves. The governor was originally saying, well, let's talk about property taxes again as an excuse for this special session. He doesn't like that anymore. So he'll come up with, there are two good reasons, by the way. The federal government, we have to decide whether to give all the Trump tax cuts under state income tax law or not. That's a huge dollar issue. We've got to decide whether we're going to do that or not, and we have to decide what to do with the health care and other cuts and education cuts that are coming out of Washington.
Yeah.
These are worth talking about. Now, we could talk about them in January almost as well as we could in November, But those are worth talking about. But this redistricting thing, give me a break.
Democrat State Rep Ed Delaney, thank you.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it as always.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
This afternoon on the Hammer and Nigel Show, the latest on government shutdown. Rob Kendall will go off the rails, and it's my birthday today. Let the beer flow like wine.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade this Saturday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for our friend Mark Deedle. You know, Zillow ranks Indianapolis number 2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to maximize your equity. Sell your home with Mark Deedle. Perhaps you're worried with a challenging market, you won't sell your home for the price it's worth. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Dan and Casey in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Deedle. It was time to downsize, and we needed to sell our old house quickly at full value. Mark Deedle made it happen. We got our asking price in a few weeks without any repairs or an appraisal. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Deedle, 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Head online to the contest page at WIBC.com and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra Thursday, December 4th in Cambridge Fieldhouse.
You are just enraged about this Maxwell Coffee story.
It's a publicity stunt. It's a marketing endeavor. But for the first time in 133 years, Maxwell House changing their name temporarily to Maxwell Apartment. They say the coffee's not going to change. It's still going to have the same taste, aroma, ingredients remain unchanged, and the rebrand is strictly symbolic.
So you're giving them what they want.
Nearly one-third of Americans, and nearly one-third of Americans now rent smaller apartments rather than owning a full-size home. So they say that this is going to resonate with the modern customer.
Wait. What's that number again? That's what's important.
Nearly one-third of Americans rent smaller apartments rather than owning a full-size home.
Okay, so that's really the number that matters, because that is a staggering statistic that basically one-third of society now, as either by choice or by force, sort of opted out of the home ownership game.
Right. They say that you can save over $1,000 a year if you brew your coffee at home, if you're a coffee drinker. 2/3 of people are. Maxwell House or Maxwell Apartment, owned by Kraft Heinz, and they're emphasizing value and affordability in the current economy. That's the thing. This is a total marketing gimmick, but it's based on what's going on with the economy.
And this was a big deal to you. Why? I mean, other than giving them free publicity.
I'm a coffee drinker.
But why? Like, what does it matter? Just the name on the package?
Yeah, they're going to change the name on the package.
I understand. That's the purpose of the story. But are you saying it bothers you for, like, is it like, why was this a pressing issue to you? I am fascinated by this.
I think it's interesting that you have a 133-year-old brand that is changing the name of their product because of the economy and the way people are living. That doesn't just happen.
But you don't believe that, like, they're doing it so people like us will talk about it, which good on them. And it's half your show.
Because here we are doing it.
If you want to waste time talking about this, that's fine. But it's not like they're selling to everyone, regardless of where they live. It's not like you're going to see them in the aisle and go, "Oh, that's his apartment on it. I'm an apartment person. I ought to get that." Or do people shop that way? Is that an actual thing?
Well, I don't drink Maxwell House or Maxwell Apartment, so it won't affect me.
No, but I'm asking, like, are people that is vain? Would vain be the right word? Or that naive that they're like, it's his apartment on it. It must taste better in apartments. I'll get the apartment coffee.
Well, one thing that they are doing is they're offering a 12-month supply, and you can get that for $40, and they typically sell for $13 each, so it does make it a discounted bundle. So you can save money if you buy the apartment version.
You strike me as the sort of person who has those little cups. You put them in.
The K-cups?
K-cups, yes.
Yes. You would be correct.
I knew it.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
It's time. You've been putting off that kitchen or bath remodel long enough. What are you waiting for? Get started today with Boer Remodeling. Boer Remodeling customer Kathy had a bath remodel with Boer. Kathy, talk a little bit about your experience.
Our experience with Boer has been terrific. The process was so easy and seamless. When we decided to do a larger remodel of our first floor, Boer was the first company we thought of hiring.
And were you happy with the results?
The results are amazing, and we are so happy with our home and the work that Boer did.
Peter is another recent Boer Remodeling customer with a new kitchen. Peter, what was the best part about working with Boer?
We especially liked the active participation that we were able to have in selection of stone for the countertops. Really came out beautiful. The cabinets also came out very, very well.
The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. They'll guide you through the entire process. Start with a free consultation. Talk to Boer Remodeling today. That's BOOHER, BoerRemodeling.com.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $200 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$200 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning. Owner Robert Kirby says more and more customers are looking at Mitsubishi mini splits as a way to help heat and cool those smaller spaces.
So we've used them in all applications, whether it be barn dominiums, sunrooms, garages, she sheds, basements, home offices. Give us a call and see if it's a good option for you.
Just go to KirbyHeating.com. Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning is your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's. 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 Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
Tune in to the Absolute Retirement Planning Show.
When retirement comes about, we're now relying on what we have saved to meet those needs.
Sundays at 9 a.m. right here on 93 WIBC.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, what the mother is saying about her son who died in a crash while leading police on a chase last night. He was arrested how many times before? We'll have more on a career criminal who's back in custody, how Indiana State Police are working to make communities safer, and what the MLB playoff picture looks like on the National League side after last night. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
It happened on Yom Kippur. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
A terrible killing at a synagogue on this, as you noted, the holiest day of the Jewish calendar.
And that synagogue is in Manchester, England. Fox's Greg Palcott reports the attacker drove into a crowd outside, then got out of his car with a knife stabbing at people.
He left 2 people killed, 3 people injured, and eventually he was killed by police, and they were very busy evacuating worshipers, adding security not just there, but at synagogues all throughout the UK.
And because of Yom Kippur, the next Senate vote on a bill to fund the government won't come till tomorrow. So the shutdown continues as Democrats dig in, demanding changes to health care subsidies that'll take effect next year be part of any bill. Senator Jean Shaheen tells Fox.
People who are going to get pushed out of their health insurance because we're not willing to extend those tax credits are really going to be hurt, and that's going to affect the whole health care system.
Republicans accuse Democrats of also trying to secure coverage for illegal immigrants as the Trump administration turns the focus on
what happens next in a shutdown and why federal workers will bear the brunt of it with furloughs and layoffs.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House also reads what the president posted on Truth Social about a meeting today with Russ Vought, the head of the Office of Management and Budget.
To determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of government employees are either off the job or deemed essential and have to keep working without pay, but the paychecks keep coming from members of Congress. Republican Senator Bernie Moreno wants to change that.
For every day that the government shut down, every member of Congress, House, and the Senate would lose permanently $500 per day. I think that's the minimum that the American people would expect.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How the family is reacting. Mostly sunny, 64 on Monument Circle, a high in the mid-80s for today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's now 10:02. A police chase ending in fire and death Wednesday night. Marco Antonio Pena Morales died at the scene in Johnson County after leading officers on that chase that started in Indianapolis. His mother says she woke up to hear about what happened.
My little daughter tell me that 1:20 in the morning. I called me because it say only received the one message, and my daughter called me. I say I waited for somebody let me know what happened.
Police say Pena Morales, who was wanted for aggravated assault, sped off when an IMPD detective spotted him at around 9 p.m. near East 21st and Emerson. Officers say speeds hit 100 miles per hour, and a pit maneuver stopped him, but the truck later crashed and caught on fire. A man previously arrested nearly 100 times is back in custody. Police say 41-year-old Courtney Booz stabbed a 69-year-old man at a gas station in Lawrence earlier this week. However, according to Indy FOP President Rick Snyder, Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears has already dropped the man's charge from attempted murder.
Shocker of all shocks, when you look up the case, it's already been automatically downgraded to only an aggravated battery.
Snyder joined the Hammer and Nigel show Wednesday to talk about Booz, who has not served any prison time for his previous offenses involving trespassing, theft, and battery. The Indiana State Police have been working hard at keeping communities safe. Johnette Cruz has more.
Governor Mike Braun on Wednesday celebrated the work of the Indiana State Police, visiting posts in Marion, Tippecanoe, and Allen counties to highlight their successes. Statewide this year, the ISP has seized over 51 pounds of fentanyl and nearly 65,000 pills. Locally, officers in Tippecanoe County alone removed over 58,000 pills from the community. The governor also noted that the state police are winning the fight against impaired driving. Arrests are up and collision fatalities involving drunk drivers are down by 11.7%. Governor Braun also highlighted the removal of 47 illegal firearms from the streets of Indianapolis. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The offense struggling for the Chicago Cubs Wednesday as the series with the San Diego Padres is now tied at 1 game apiece. The Northsiders had just 4 hits in the 3-0 loss yesterday. First pitch of today's winner-take-all Game 3 is at 5 p.m. Eastern. The Reds, meanwhile, eliminated from the postseason by the Dodgers following their 8-4 loss last night in L.A. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in 1 minute.
Retirement isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about knowing how to play the next movement. Without a plan, your savings can feel like noise instead of music. I'm Jason Hutchins with Guardian Wells Financial. I've seen too many families head into retirement without the guidance they need. That's why I wrote Orchestrate Your Retirement, a guide to composing a financially tuned plan. I'd like to mail you a copy at no cost. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929. Inside this book, you'll find real-world strategies on turning savings into income, making smarter Social Security decisions, and reducing a bite of taxes in retirement. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929 for your book today. Don't wait. Supplies are limited, and when they're gone, they are gone. Orchestrate your retirement. Discover the rhythm of a confident future.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guardian Wells Financial is not affiliated with Creative One Wealth or with any government agency. Licensed insurance professionals.
Call 317-660-0929.
This hour powered by Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
I know it shouldn't impress me anymore. But our ability to be right on so much, we should probably be in some sort of record book.
You think so? Should we call Guinness?
Well, I hate to do this here, but we're about to talk about how we were right again about what's going on with this government shutdown. Which, by the way, are you okay?
I'm okay. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I am amazed. I thought, there would be comets coming out of the sky. I thought rivers would be burning. I didn't think I'd be able to even get out of my house. And yet, for 2 days in a row now, despite a government shutdown, I have been able to live my life as normal without any sort of interruption.
If the government shutdown wasn't being broadcast and televised, would you even know?
Right now, no, because literally nothing has happened. Now, they're getting ready to announce those furloughs, let goes, whatever. But as of right now, no, absolutely not. And one of the things we have told you about this government, well, there's many things that are ridiculous about this government shutdown, but the two things everybody needs to keep at the forefront of their thoughts. The Republican Party is now the party of Joe Biden because they're doing a victory lap and telling you what a great job they're doing, that they have passed a spending bill that is Biden-level spending and most of Biden's spending priorities. So Biden and the Republicans are now the same group of people, because they're very excited that despite having another opportunity, they've had the government, total control of government for 9 months now. They're still telling you what a great job they're doing and how excited you should be that they're continuing to fund essentially Biden's government in full. And the second part of this is that the Republicans will cave on Obamacare. Despite 15 years of huffing and puffing, the Republicans have zero interest in actually making meaningful changes to Obamacare because the Republicans are just as invested in legalized vote buying as the Democrats.
Same party, different messaging.
Just different people benefit, but there is, so on full display, if you're a Republican cheerleader, on full display for you, the party that you cheerlead for is all in on Biden's spending and Biden's government, and they're all in on Obama's signature disastrous health care plan, which, Casey, is your insurance any cheaper than it was 15 years ago?
No, it's not.
Now, they told us it was not going to go up one dime.
In fact, it has gone up.
And they said if you liked your doctor, you could keep it. Probably just accidental misstatements. But we are now seeing that the Republicans, as we told you they would do, are forming a work group, focus group, whatever you want to call it. And the premise of the group is to save Obamacare and get the government reopened.
Yeah, so there's a couple different people in this working group, and you've got Dan Sullivan from Alaska, Tommy Tuberville, and also Lisa Murkowski. And this Republican working group is crafting a conservative proposal to extend Obamacare.
Okay, so let's talk about for a second what Obamacare actually is now. It is a gajillion-dollar giveaway to the insurance companies. Casey, what's it called when you take money and then because you can't give it to yourself directly, you give it to somebody else? and then they give it back to you. There's a name for that. It goes in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
You get money, and then you give it to somebody, and then they give it back to you because you can't just give it directly
They
to
put
yourself.
a Tide Pod in there?
Yes, thank you. They're clean. It's cleaner money.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's cleaner money. It's money laundering, right? That's that. We've seen this with the Democrats, with the Ukraine stuff. Like, this happens all the time. That's what Obamacare is. There was no betterment of the insurance industry, of healthcare in this country. It's never been worse. I'm not in any way impugning healthcare professionals. They're fabulous people. I'm talking about the system that is set up, designed by our federal government, in which the top priority is ensuring that totally out of control insurance megacorps who give them huge amounts of money keep their profiteering in full force.
Mm-hmm.
That is what Obamacare is now. It is not making insurance more affordable. It's not making it any better. It is simply taking money from you and giving it to people to buy insurance. Now, this is also the most government thing ever. Let's explain what the Republicans claim they're fighting for now. They're not fighting to get rid of Obamacare. They made that very clear. They all want it to continue. Thune, the head of the Senate, Johnson, the Speaker of the House, Trump, the president, all Republicans, all people who at various times have campaigned on getting rid of or making major changes to Obamacare. They don't want to get rid of Obamacare. We're off of that. Republicans are the party of Obamacare. What they want to do, and they want you to believe they've done something magnanimous or incredible, is because during COVID, they threw so many people onto Obamacare, and it is now so unaffordable. Unaffordable, I mean the government cannot subsidize it anymore. And because there was so much fraud and abuse that they cannot deny it, what they're trying to do is simply reset Obamacare to where it was pre-COVID.
Right.
That's it. That's the big change that they're going to make. So wherever Obamacare was in, say, February of 2020, that's where they want it to go to. Still all sorts of waste, fraud, and abuse. Still a massive giveaways to the insurance company. Still doing absolutely nothing to make your insurance better, to make the medical system better, to make anything more affordable. They're simply just trying to undo some of the massive waste, fraud, and abuse and giveaways that they made happen during the 2020, 2021, 2022.
Senator Mike Rounds, he's from South Dakota, Republican. He proposed a one-year extension followed by a one-year phase down to pre-pandemic levels. And then Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina, also Republican, he's not even in the working group, but he pledged to support their final proposal no matter what it is.
So this is your government. They created something and they lied to you. In the 15 years it has been in existence, it has never, ever done the things that it promised to do, which is make the medical system better and insurance more affordable and more accessible. It's never done any of those things. One side has spent 15 years telling you how bad it is, and despite, let's see, so they had the House in 10. Basically, of the past 15 years, other than two of those years, they have had the ability to stop Obamacare at any time because they've had at least one portion of the federal government. Multiple times now, they've had the entire federal government. They've never done anything to stop it. And yet, there will be people who, despite hearing all of this, and all of what I just told you is irrefutable, you can read it, you can look it up, you find it for yourself, don't take my word for it. They'll be mad at me for saying that out loud.
Okay, so the goals of this GOP working group, they say, are to cut down on costs, also reduce fraud, add new income gaps for eligibility, and require minimum out-of-pocket premiums. They also want to restrict some of the subsidies.
But keep in mind, the state of Indiana just tried to do this because Obamacare is a Medicaid expansion. That's at its core, that's what it is. It's the taxpayers paying for people to have subsidized or zero-cost insurance. You can call it bananas if you want. Indiana has from the beginning been on board with Obamacare because Mike Pence, when he became governor, had an opportunity to get us out of this whole thing. And what did he do? He went to Obama. They had a famous back and forth meeting about this, their administration and the Obama administration. And what Obama told him is he said, you can call it whatever you want.
Right.
You can call it the Mike Pence Affordability Insurance Act. As long as you make more people dependent on the government for their daily needs, I don't care what you call it.
And if you don't do it, you'll lose federal funds.
So what Pence did was he agreed to a massive expansion of Medicaid. And what Pence said, well, Pence didn't do this because he couldn't think his way out of a paper bag. But the people who are running the Pence administration, don't laugh at that, Kevin. It's not funny. Mike Pence did a lot of damage to this state. I don't say those things lightly. I don't say those things to get a laugh out of you. It's not funny. They said, well, people liked the initial HIP program that Mitch Daniels put in place, which was designed, which was an actual state solution for people who were trying to pay for their insurance, but were in a financial gap of being able to do that. Everybody kind of likes that, and that's popular. We'll just call it HIP 2.0, and everybody think it's great because we can't think of anything, and we don't have the stones to stand up to the federal government. So we'll just lie to everybody, and they'll think it's just the HIP, when the reality is the HIP 2.0 program, as we've seen be now admitted by the Braun administration, ran us into massive financial ruin, and they've had to cut hundreds of millions of dollars out of this program. They have admitted it's totally careening towards insolvency. And what did Braun try to do? One good thing Braun did try to do is say, look, we got to make these changes. We'd like to implement them in 26. And the federal government, run by Republicans, said, nope, can't do that. Not till 27. Why? Because they don't want to lose the votes in the midterm.
Right.
They don't want to take away the freebies. There is no difference between these two parties, and I don't know why so many other people who otherwise exude high levels of common sense and critical thinking just can't see it.
No official response yet from the White House on this Republican working group. Nikki Kelly is going to join us next, and we're going to talk about how much our state elected officials spent on their travel.
Want to guess who the grand winner is, Case?
I think everybody knows, but she'll tell us for sure coming up from 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the morning news. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Race Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Raise Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Up to 50% off and 2.99% financing, plus receive an additional $550 off your project.
Because at B Window,
we mean business. We mean business.
I am a patriot, and I love my country, because my country is
Mirror, mirror on the wall, Diego's the biggest spender of them all.
Does that surprise you?
It's like that little poetry this morning.
I know, I loved it. That was really good.
It's the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. We talked about this earlier in the program, Casey. Fascinating report out from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle detailing
how much our statewide office holders are spending on their travel.
Yes, and the headline, Morales tops statewide official travel spending.
All right, so let's get into the details on this. This is fascinating how much of our money this guy is spending to go across the state. $33,000, in fact. And joining us now on the WIBC hotline, she joins us this time each week. One of the best in the business, Nikki Kelly. Nikki Kelly, hello.
Good morning, guys.
All right, so great reporting by you guys over the Indiana Capitol Chronicle. Now, this stems out of there's a new law that requires statewide office holders to report their travel by October the 1st, correct?
Right, and so it covers the fiscal year before. So this is the first time, and it's the 2025 fiscal year.
Okay, so Diego, I don't think this will surprise anybody, is the biggest spender on travel. Diego Morales, the Indiana Secretary of State. But it's the amount of money, $33,000.
Yeah, basically, I mean, he spent a third of all that was spent by these 19 people.
Wow. Nikki, say that again.
He spent a third of the total that was spent on the 19 people who filed these reports.
Okay, so a lot of this is gas because he's going to all these different places doing various things. But I think the big thing our audience would be interested in is he listed his trip to India but would not say who paid for it and will not say how much he spent.
Correct. He was very detailed. I'll give him credit for this. Some people were not detailed in the reports. He was very detailed on his larger trips, what they were for, where they were, how much they cost, and there were quite a few of those, 19 of those. But he separately listed two other trips that were not, it says not paid for with state funds. It doesn't say who paid for them or what they cost, but one of them was the India trip that caused all the hubbub earlier this year, and one of them was a trip to Vancouver, British Columbia.
Okay, so this is what I can't figure out, because they're supposed to list trips that were, quote, taken in official capacity, right? Like that's what this is for. And yet he took the Secretary of State trip. He was very clear that it was taken in an official capacity. But the way the law's written, he still doesn't have to disclose how much he spent if he just claims, oh, state money wasn't used?
Right. I mean, the law wants, the reason they're asking for the reporting is to know how much state money was spent on it. So, yeah. So unless there was state money spent on it, technically, I'm not even sure he would have had to include that, but he did.
So we're no closer to finding out who paid for India, even though you guys are trying your darndest.
Yes, we certainly are. I love this law, by the way, because while all of this is public record, it's very hard to get all in one place and to, file these public records requests for everything. So I think it's a very transparent law to show who's traveling where and on whose dime. I do think the total number of, I think we were at like $97,000. It's probably a little low. There are certainly some trips in there. For instance, Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith had a few out-of-state trips on his, but with no costs associated. The only costs that he reported were from the monthly gas card usage. So and also there was a cabinet secretary, Mike Speedy, who travels quite a lot, but it said not applicable on any cost. So I assume, is he fronting those costs on his own? That one was a little clear. So it's probably a little low, but gets us definitely in the right range.
Wait, then Casey's got to hop in here. But so Beckwith claims he went out of state, but then claimed it cost no money?
Yeah, there's no, the one thing about this is there was no set format for them all to use. So some of them did totals, some of them didn't total, some of them included gas cards, some of them didn't. But so yes, he has a list, and it just has 6 different months of gas cards. But there are some, I think 4 or 5 out-of-state trips, one in Kentucky, one in Michigan, one in Ohio, and it'll just say speaking event, and then there's no expenses under that column. So I'm not exactly sure how those were paid for, whether it was him, whether it was someone else. That remains to be seen.
Now, we had heard rumors that some other people were looking into this, too, about problems with lack of detail on various keeping track of mileage and who went where and who did what. But that's a conversation for another time. Casey, go ahead.
Nikki Kelly from Indiana Capital Chronicle with us. Is $97,000 in line with previous years?
Well, I don't really know for sure because we've never had this report before. It also includes cabinet secretaries, which, the cabinet is set up differently under Braun, and so is hard to even compare apples to apples. So I don't really have an answer for that because it wasn't ever collected in this way before.
You had mentioned that some were a little more detailed than others. Who was not very detailed?
That one's going to have to go to Attorney General Todd Rokita.
Of course.
My favorite thing about his is it's 100 on the dot trips, and every single one of them just says official business.
Okay.
So okay. You are a straight shooter. It seems like a lot of these people, this is the equivalent. I used to do this in 6th grade all the time. We had a project that was due, and the night before you're like, I got to turn something in because I can't get a 0 on this. It seems like this is because there's no form, you said, right, Nikki? Like no mandated way to do this. And they're just like, we'll just throw some stuff on there. I went to various states. How much did it cost? Who knows? Where did you go? 100 times. Really? Boy, that's funny how that worked out. That's the most government thing ever, right, Nikki? That there's no mandated way you do this. Just turn something in.
Yeah, I mean, they're all independently elected officials, right? At least, Rokita, Beckwith, Morales, so they can do it the way they want to. For instance, I'll say, obviously he had some trips to D.C. and their expenses are clearly shown. Other times it'll just go like $24 spent in Central Indiana. Don't know where. Don't know for what. But on the other hand, for instance, Governor Mike Braun list was so detailed that at times there were like actual cents worth of things that were noted. Like if he bought ice cream at a shop, that was said what it was. And so some of them are very detailed and some of them could probably use a little more clarity.
You had mentioned Governor Mike Braun and his spending. Can you talk a little bit more about how much he spent and where he went?
Yeah, his are actually very low. And I do want to point out that he also has campaign finance dollars that he can use to cover some of his, whereas cabinet secretaries don't have campaign finance reports and stuff like that. So he could have also covered some of his with campaign dollars, but his was only, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000, $7,000. I think I'd have to double check again. And most of his, almost half of his, was one expensive helicopter ride to Trine University for a commencement.
Nikki Kelly from the Capital Chronicle is our guest. Now, let me repeat that, and it may be a little higher because of the campaign stuff, but it looks like the Secretary of State spent more than 3 times what the governor did traveling.
Yeah. So I'm looking, Braun was $7,800.
Yeah, so let's just.
And by the way, although to be clear, I do want to clarify, because this covers the fiscal year, Braun didn't start until January, so it's only half of the fiscal year for him. Morales was already in office, so his was the full year.
Yeah, but even if he doubled his expenses, it's still not as much.
Right. And
Correct.
That doesn't include Diego's magical mystery trip to India or this thing to Vancouver or whatever. Nikki Kelly from Capital Chronicle is our guest. Hey, got a couple minutes left here with you. Speaking of Braun, he had this press conference yesterday, and he said something that blew my mind, which is that he thinks everybody's pretty happy with the property tax bill, and if we have a special session, there's no need to do anything with it. That is unbelievable, given I can't find a single person outside of the State House that is happy with the property tax bill.
Well, I mean, it's in the eye of the beholder. I honestly haven't heard a lot about property taxes in quite a while, and people are obviously going to see next year's bills, see some relief on them. So I think he thinks they found the right spot. Ironically, we had written a story about how top leaders are saying they're going to have to make changes pretty quickly because the bond markets are reacting very badly to a few of the changes on the local revenue stream. And these are, cities, towns, counties who have taken bonds out based on, tax revenue coming in, but because of the changes making that very uncertain, the bond markets have reacted pretty badly to it.
Nikki Kelly with the Indiana Capital Chronicle is on the line. What do you make of Congressman Shreve's donation of his salary to the Boys and Girls Club of Johnson County.
Yeah, interesting. I think that kind of happened. I've heard that numerous times over the years for various shutdowns. And they can't actually refuse their pay, so they have to give the equivalent of a donation. So we'll see what happens with that and how long that shutdown goes. Braun also downplayed sort of the impact of that on Indiana yesterday.
One of the best in the business, more great reporting. Read the report. How much of our money these statewide office holders and cabinet members are spending. Nikki Kelly over at the Indiana Capital Chronicle, indianacapitalchronicle.com. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
So fired up for a Hammer and Nigel Road Show. Coach's Tavern, downtown, Friday, October 3rd. It's brought to you by the Finnish Long Drink.
The Finnish Long Drink is financially backed by golfer Ricky Fowler and actor Miles Teller. You guys are going to love this, and we're going to sample some of these at Coach's Tavern, downtown, Friday, October 3rd. It's kind of my birthday party with the Finnish Long Drink. We hope to see you there.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Trying to come to terms soon. Sunny and 65 in downtown Indy. We'll get up to 82 for a high today. I'm Sherritt Lewis. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Congress is scrambling to pass funding legislation after the federal government was forced into a shutdown early Wednesday morning. Democrats have said they will not support any Republican legislation that does not extend health care benefits from the Affordable Care Act that are set to expire later this year. There will not be a vote in the Senate on any proposal today. President Trump writing on Truth Social Wednesday, he plans to talk with Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping about trying to get China to purchase more U.S. soybeans and other crops in their upcoming discussions in a few weeks. The president claims China is not buying soybeans in order to exert pressure on U.S. farmers. Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins on Fox Business Mornings with Maria.
He is unwilling to let any of this slide. So yesterday was another marker, I think a line in the sand, if you will, that China needs to stop playing games and that we've got to move forward. And they need our product. It isn't that, they're sitting there with their bins full. They need our product.
The president's trade war is leading other countries to explore alternate supply chains that cut out the U.S. entirely. FBI Director Kash Patel says the agency is cutting ties with an anti-hate organization,
saying, quote, that era is finished. FBI Director Kash Patel told Fox Digital that the agency formally rejects any partnership with the Anti-Defamation League that was forged by former FBI Director James Comey. Patel said the ADL, a Jewish advocacy group, functioned, quote, like a terrorist organization. The ADL released a statement saying it has, quote, deep respect for the Bureau and law enforcement at all levels of the country. The change follows the recent backlash aimed at the ADL from Elon Musk and Republican lawmakers for listing Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk's organization, as an extremist group.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers reporting. And according to a study from Brock's Candy, Indiana ranks 4th in states that love candy corn the most. I'm Sherritt Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. That's 800-659-7540.
Hey guys, it's Rob for our friend Mark Deedle. You know, Zillow ranks Indianapolis number 2 among 2025's hottest markets. That's right, number 2. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to maximize your equity. Sell your home with Mark Deedle. Perhaps you have costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Maybe you're worried about that. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Sarah in Fountain Square had to say about working with Mark Dietel. After investing in a property in Fountain Square, ran into some financial trouble and needed to sell the place fast for max dollars. I hired the Mark Dietel team, and they were able to sell my property within weeks for over list price. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com.
Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln and Fishers. Come see the full line of breathtaking Lincoln vehicles at Indiana's premier Lincoln dealership. From the moment you arrive at Tom Roush Lincoln, you'll know you've arrived. Shop over 200 new Lincolns in our state-of-the-art family-owned and operated dealership with no pressure. Just the award-winning service and respect you deserve, plus complimentary pickup and delivery for service. Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln and Fishers.
At Price Point Comfort, we promise you'll never be sold something you don't need. Call us at 317-455-1124 or see us at PricePointComfort.com.
Price Point Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air dealer.
Remember, you ever seen the movie Blue Chips?
No.
Well, that just derailed this whole segment.
Yes, I've seen it. Loved it.
It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. At the end of the movie Blue Chips, it's a very famous sports movie. Nick Nolte came out in the early 90s. Nick Nolte plays a college basketball coach, an imaginary college. And there's very famous basketball players in it. Shaquille O'Neal, Anthony Hardaway, Matt Nover, who was a star at IU. And the coach is sort of in the mold of Bob Knight. It's pretty clear that that's who they were thinking of when Bob Knight's actually in the movie. And the movie was filmed here in Indiana at the Frankfurt Gymnasium. And the whole premise of the movie is Nick Nolte, much like Bob Knight, is sort of becoming this dinosaur of college basketball and would never cut a corner to be successful. And his glory days had kind of passed him, and the university and the donors and the boosters were, sort of getting on him, and he never ever cut a corner. And he finally decides that winning is so important to him that he will go against every fiber of his being and everything that he knows to be right and wrong. And he will finally agree to allow these superstar freshman players to come in and be paid to play. And I think once a movie's been out 30 plus years, you can spoil it for people, right? But if you're desperate to see the movie Blue Chips, cover your ears for the next minute. At the end of the movie, though, the pressure, even though he finally has this great team and he beats IU of all people and Bob Knight, the pressure of knowing he's done wrong becomes too much for him. And he stooges on himself at the end of the movie, and he gives this incredible speech about how it's all become about money. The idea of the game, the love of the game.
It's not about the sport anymore.
Doesn't matter anymore. It's all about money. And it was, that was such a powerful scene at the end of that movie, because he knows he hasn't won fairly, and he knows he is now a part of the problem, which they even got to him. The guy who couldn't be broken, the guy who couldn't be corrupted, he needed it so bad that he gave in. And I mention all of this because while what Nick Nolte was talking about 30 years ago was taboo, because people who were paying out and paying players were frowned upon and, ostracized if they were caught and et cetera. Now, that's all college sports is.
It's expected, especially with the NIL.
It's a mini professional league. It's a breeding ground for professional athletes. And they are basically just pros, but not as good. And it's all about money.
Yeah.
It's not about the idea of competition or your college education or bettering yourself as a human being or using your athletic ability and sport to make yourself a person who's going to learn life lessons that'll make you a productive member of society. These kids, especially on big-time college sports and campuses, are just there, many of them for the money, and the institution means nothing. And now I think it's about to get infinitely worse with what the Big Ten is talking about doing.
Well, the institution seems to be on board, many of them. Big Ten basically starting a side hustle.
So ESPN had this article, and this is both horrific and fascinating at the same time, where
the Big Ten, look, I mean, there are two dominant conferences now. The ACC is hanging on by a thread. Still with North Carolina, Duke, in terms of college basketball, they're fine. But let's face it, football is the driver of everything now. The Big 12 is still also hanging on by a thread. But the Big Ten and SEC have recognized, because they've created these mega conferences, which, let's face it, the idea that USC and UCLA are in a conference with Indiana and Purdue is ridiculous.
Right.
They have no points of commonality. They have nothing that binds them together.
TV markets.
It's all about money. It was all about to create these super conferences. And now the Big Ten and SEC have recognized, and this article is about the Big Ten, that we are so powerful now that there are numerous ways we can make money, period. That's it. That's what this is about. Not make our conference better, not make the educational experience better.
Right.
That we can make money, that they are now exploring, creating, for lack of a better term, this sort of conglomerate in which they will bring in private financiers and they will use this conglomerate, which will now be backed in part by private money, to create a multi-billion-dollar, billion with a B, enterprise with various marketing and licensing and other endeavors that will make them one of the most powerful, I don't know, corporations, not the right word. Groups, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Enterprises, yeah.
Potentially over the next couple decades in the entire country.
So the Big Ten is in talks with a private capital deal, equity group worth $2 billion. They would form this new commercial entity, tentatively called Big Ten Enterprises, and this new enterprise would manage all the revenue-generating activities, like media rights, like sponsorships, like league revenue. So what you would have is, for example, Michigan versus Ohio State, presented by Taco Bell.
And on all the jerseys, instead of each individual school having a sponsor or whatever, hey, every Big Ten team
would have the same logo,
and you're gonna pay for that. Now, this is a great example of how out of control things get very quickly, and the NCAA is in large part to blame, because they had these ridiculous rules about how kids could make money, about how they couldn't work second jobs, they couldn't make money. All of that stuff pushed it to the Wild West, in which the courts had to get involved. And once the courts got involved, they basically said there are no rules on this. And what we now have is something that is about nothing but profit. There is no love of school. I'm talking the big times, right? Like, I'm not doubting if you go to Wabash and you play football at Wabash, or Marion, that there is a love of school and education. We're talking about the tippy top programs, institutions, et cetera, especially as it relates to college athletics. But when I was a kid, when I was growing up, whether it was Notre Dame football or IU basketball, you were invested in who the new freshman class was, because you knew, oh, cool, I'm going to see this guy for the next 4 years. And you're literally, whether you were a kid like me or an adult, you invested in those individuals because they were investing in something that was special to you, and you were literally going to get to see them go from an 18-year-old kid to a 22-year-old man, and you were going to get to see their life, and then you tracked them throughout the rest of their life because you saw them evolve. That's done. It's all about money. It's all about making a buck. It's all about kids moving from one place to the next, just on whatever best deal they can cut in the moment, and we have totally gutted. We have totally destroyed the thing that made college athletics so special.
So these discussions have been going on for a while now. Ohio State, Michigan, they're on board. And it would structure out like they would provide upfront cash payments to the schools, and it would be a tiered system based on the school's current budgets and the school brand power. So I'm curious, is a school like The Ohio State University going to get a bigger chunk of the money than, say, University of Maryland?
Well, that's where the old saying, the devil's in the details. And it sounds like, look, they're going to do this, is what it sounds like. They're not to the point where they're ready to sign, a document yet. But if you can picture the way this will be structured, according to this ESPN report, conglomerate or whatever group, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll have basically 20 members to it. It'll have the 18. By the way, how stupid is it that they call it the Big Ten and there's 18 schools?
Right.
How stupid is that? Okay, so you got 18 schools. Then the Big Ten as an entity will be a part of it. And then whoever this outside person is that infuses cash into it, and the outside person will get their money back over time by being a part of this conglomerate, and whatever deals get made, they're essentially become a shareholder in the thing. So let's say they infuse, I'm just making numbers up here. Let's say they infuse $100 million of cash instantly. That goes and gets dispersed. And then over time, whatever these deals are as a shareholder, they'll get money off the thing. They also, I will guess, use whoever this person is going to be massively connected in the business world. And so they'll utilize that person to get these deals done.
Yeah, they say these private investors, they would own equity shares, but the investor wouldn't receive any voting control or be on any of the board. So it would preserve the university's autonomy.
Don't you hate that? Like now Notre Dame has been a little different. They seem to have a lot of the guys come back year over year, but every year Notre Dame has a different quarterback now.
Yeah.
You notice that like every year, and a lot of the other positions. But don't you hate that from one year to the next, you
can't see them progress and get better. And
you don't invest in them anymore. Like you like Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame because of tradition and history. And so we cheer for Notre Dame. But I don't. It doesn't feel the same to me anymore. Like I watched all those games last year when Notre Dame went to the national championship, and I cheered for them. But I had way more investment as a kid when they were 8-3 or 9-2, and going to the Pop-Tart Bowl. That wasn't around back then, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Teams that weren't winning national championships are playing for them than I did last year because I'm not going to see a bunch of these guys next year.
Right. It's like you would watch Brady Quinn, and then you knew, he's going to be back next year, and let's see how much he's improved and how much the team has come together. Well, now it's different every single year. They say this move is in response to the rising athletic department costs.
Oh yeah, they went up by $2 billion, Casey. They've increased by $2 billion. Hey, it's Hammer's birthday.
It is his birthday. He's going to join us next on 93 WIBC.
This afternoon on the Hammer and Nigel Show, the latest on government shutdown. Rob Kendall will go off the rails, and it's my birthday today. Let the beer flow like wine.
Hey, ladies, are you interested in self-protection but don't know where to begin, or maybe you're too nervous to enter the gun store alone? Well, let me introduce you to Premier Arms. They're more than just a gun store. Premier Arms is a supportive community dedicated to empowering women. They have a friendly, educated staff, and they'll provide personalized guidance, ensuring you feel confident in your firearm choice. It's Casey Daniels letting you know Premier Arms is where female gun owners are supported. Call them today, 317-858-3030.
Football is back, and so are great hairlines. We Grow Hair Indy has helped former local professional football players get back in the game with full natural hair. You don't have to play pro ball to get pro-level results. Hey, it's Rob, and I knew I picked the right team when I needed a Hail Mary for my hair. I called We Grow Hair Indy. Whether you're tailgating, coaching, or watching from the couch, do it with confidence. Trade the sidelines for a hairline. Get back in the game at We Grow Hair Indy. Schedule your free evaluation today at WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com, or call 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. Enjoy being out and about this fall. Enjoy watching the games in person with your friends with confidence you haven't had in years. And you can do it with a trip to We Grow Hair Indy. 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade this Saturday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
At Puccini's, we think less screen time and more quality mealtime is the better way. Eat, talk, and dine with less blue light glaring or talking heads blaring while enjoying great food at a reasonable price is the Puccini's way. Dine in for hot, delicious food prepared fresh and to your liking. If you need anything, we're right there so you'll leave full and happy. We have delivery options and carryout, but let's start dining in together again the way we all used to enjoy so much.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
So with all the choices of where you could buy your furniture and mattresses, here's why you should purchase your new Lazy Boy, Smith Brothers or Flex Steel Furniture, Tempur-Pedic, Sealy or Stearns and Foster mattresses, or Berlin Gardens and Pollywood outdoor furniture from Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Unmatched customer service during and after the sale. Have a service issue, they're just one call away. They deliver and set up for free if you live within 75 miles of their store in Columbus. Saves you hundreds. Family owned, worth the very short drive. ThompsonFurniture.net.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Weekday mornings at 7:15, the Tony Katz Popcorn Moment, brought to you by Boer Remodeling. Don't wait any longer for the kitchen you've been dreaming of. Request a consultation at BoerRemodeling.com.
Game day starts here with the Colts Ultimate Tailgate at the Slippery Noodle this Sunday, kicking off at 9:30 a.m. We're bringing the party with ice-cold drinks, tailgate games, prizes, and all the pre-kickoff buzz. It's Indy's biggest Sunday celebration.
Go shorty, it's your birthday. We gon' party like it's your birthday. We gon' sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. And you know
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Mm-hmm.
How good do I look for 48, Casey? Be honest.
Super sexy.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
amazing.
that.
Jason Hammer, it is his 48th birthday, and other than being much fatter, you don't look that much different than when I first met you 20-plus years ago.
Well, thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. I still have my boyish charm.
Yeah, yeah. I first met Hammer, as I think we told this story. I was the Indianapolis Indians producer they were on WXNT. Hammer was the weekend and fill-in guy on WZPL. And
I've just gotten rolling over there, yeah.
And I used to ignore my job producing the games, and I'd go down there and hang out with Hammer because he was talking to a lot of chicks who probably weren't but sounded hot.
Mm-hmm. Right. They sounded hot, but we promise you they probably were smoking about 2 cigs at the same time, had a neck tattoo, back fat, and were listening to us on a transistor in a trailer park.
Yeah. Over there at ZPL, do you remember the smoking box they had?
There was a smoking box.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that.
It's like an all-glass office.
That was back in the day where in order for someone to send you a nude, they'd have to send it via email.
Correct. There was no cellular, texting like that back in the day.
So somebody had to really want that Britney Spears song to get on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They had to mail a Polaroid, basically. That's kind of how it was.
Do you feel
back
like
in
you've
the day.
changed much in the past 20 years since then? Have you learned a lot about life, liberty?
I was a degenerate gambler who drank a lot and liked to pump chicks. I'm still the same dude.
Same chick.
I feel like the traits are the same. I'm just a little bit older now.
Here's the thing I would say about you, though, is that, it pains me to say anything nice about you, despite all your flaws, you are a phenomenal husband and father. And, you're taking your kid on some sort of big camping trip, right?
So we're going next weekend, not this weekend, but the following weekend to Grand Teton National Park.
Oh, wow.
It was part of a Christmas gift from last
Yes.
year we're cashing in.
That's exciting.
Gave him the option to go to any national park in the country. It's like, hey, do you want to go to Yosemite? Do you want to go to Yellowstone? And he's like, nope, I want to go to Grand Teton.
Did some research.
So we're going to set up shop in Jackson Hole, Wyoming for a couple days.
Oh.
Smell the clean air.
Yeah.
Come back here, and yeah, it's going to be fun.
Weren't you like, wouldn't you rather take in a Raiders game?
You can see the Everglades in Florida where it's
Right.
a little warmer. But no, this is my kid that's probably going to be a park ranger one day. It's what he's going to go to college to study and all that stuff.
Wait, that's what he's decided?
Well, he's torn between being a scientist at a national park, breaking down why, things happen as a biologist.
Yeah.
Or, the park ranger, sometimes you make more money at a big major national park. So you've got to be well versed on all things nature and also be able to carry a firearm.
This is clearly a child who got your wife's brain.
Yes. Jacob is the brains of the operation in the Hammer House. Not that Chris isn't smart. He's on honor roll, but Jacob is like Sheldon Cooper, Big Bang Theory smart.
What are you doing for your birthday?
Well, I will be going through the motions on our afternoon show today.
At least he's honest.
The Cubs come on at 3. It's my birthday. I think there may be some cocktails involved this afternoon. So if at any point I start to sound like Nigel, I apologize. Normally, one person has to stay somewhat coherent on this program. Today, there might not be any.
You ever been really liquored up on the air before? Like really liquored up?
Oh, some of those live shows back at ZPL when I was doing nights, and I moved over to the night show. We'd broadcast live from the bar, The Ugly Monkey.
Oh, yeah!
Remember the monkey shows?
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
Did you ever say anything inappropriate whilst consuming too much of anything?
No, I don't think I have. I've been pretty good about that. I've had some hot mic stuff where, like...
Oh, you thought you were off?
Thought you were off and, but it wasn't anything too bad. Just like, oh, my God, look at the...
Yeah, did you threaten to bomb the Russians like Reagan did?
Did not do that. What about you guys? Any hot mic moments? Any of you? You guys have been on radio for a while.
Just assume the mic's always on.
Casey?
I had a listener once who dropped the F-bomb.
Well, that's a listener. That's not you, though.
Right,
You
it
can't
wasn't
help that.
me. Yeah, and I was so scared. I remember calling my boss at midnight. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, if I go down, I'm not going down to a DUI or a hot mic. I'm going to make them earn it. They're going to take me out. Well, happy birthday, man.
Thank you. Our new podcast drops at 1 o'clock for the NFL weekend.
Thanks, Hammer. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Don Fisher for QC Kinetics. I was struggling with chronic knee pain and wasn't encouraged with the options of risky surgery and pain pills. QC Kinetics offered the best option for me, cutting-edge regenerative medicine. Their non-invasive treatment stimulated my body's own biologics so I could be pain-free and get back to doing what I love, playing golf. QC Kinetics has a fantastic success rate, and it's clear to see why so many Hoosiers are happy to tell their story of how they reclaimed their lives with the QC Kinetics approach. Ready to live your life pain-free? Go to qckinetics.com/Indianapolis or call 317-559-PAIN and get a no-obligation consultation. QC Kinetics uses the latest technologies, whether it's stem cell, PRP, plasma, or a number of other advanced therapies. Call QC Kinetics. It'll be the best call you will make. Get back in the game, whatever that is for you. Call 317-559-PAIN.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hey guys, it's Rob.
At Advent, nasal congestion and sinus infections can be solved with an in-office 20-minute procedure. Elsewhere, expect surgery.
Hey Hey guys, it's Rob. If you got kids, listen up. There's a big event going on this weekend with Life Church. It's their 4th annual Truth Conference. And over the past couple months, we have seen a lot of folks in Gen Z, that's grades 6 through 12, talk about faith and show an interest in faith like never before. That's where Life Church's 4th annual Truth Conference comes in. It's a weekend just for teens that has 3 main sessions: live worship and breakup sessions where they can ask questions about God, the Bible, culture, and relationships. Also has great food, amazing prizes, fun games, free arcade, coffee bar, and more. So if you're looking for something for your kids to do this weekend, check out the 4th annual Truth Conference. Learn more about it on the web, lifechurchin.com.
Up to 50% off and 2.99% financing, plus receive an additional $550 off your project.
Because at B Windows,
we mean business. We mean business.
In 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers studios, why IMPD got into a chase with a man from Chicago last night, how a man with dozens of previous arrests hasn't served any prison time, and where a homicide suspect from out of state ended up hiding to try and evade deputies. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
There's no end in sight on day 2 of the government shutdown. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
And the Democrats should know that they put the White House and the president in this position. And if they don't want further harm on their constituents back home, then they need to reopen the government.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt tells Fox President Trump has a meeting today to consider
layoffs and at agencies that we feel do not best serve the American taxpayer that may need to be halted or permanently cut.
This says hundreds of thousands of federal employees are either off the job another day or deemed essential and working without pay. Republicans accuse Democrats of blocking new funding demanding health care coverage for illegal immigrants. But Senator Shaheen says that's not true, telling Fox they want
to ensure that we're not kicking 24 million Americans, raising their premiums for health insurance, doubling those, and kicking 4 million Americans off of their health insurance.
Back to the White House and Caroline Leavitt. She would not comment to Fox on a report that the U.S. is considering providing Ukraine with intelligence that could help identify Russian energy targets and counterattacks.
However, I know the president has made it very clear that we are going to continue to sell weapons to NATO so NATO can provide those weapons to Ukraine.
There is reaction from Russia on that if the U.S. provides Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, it will mean a new serious round of tension. We have an update from British police calling this morning's attack on a synagogue terrorism.
It's Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish religious calendar, and police say they were called to the Heaton Park Hebrew Congregation Synagogue in Manchester just after 9:30 a.m. local time. They'd been told a car was driven into members of the public and that one man had been stabbed.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. 2 of the victims died, 3 are hospitalized. Police shot the attacker, but it took a while to get to him to confirm his death, as they feared he had an explosive on his body. 2 other suspects have been arrested. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What led to the chase and how it ended. It's sunny and 70 in Indianapolis. The high today, 82. Sunshine expected for much of the afternoon. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. A wanted Chicago man leading police from Indianapolis into Johnson County Wednesday night.
I'm Ryan Hedrick. His truck hit a concrete pipe, went airborne, landed in a ditch, and burst into flames along I-65. His brother spoke for their mother afterward.
She said that with her, she was always like a good son, but he did have a short temper.
The man, identified as Marco Antonio Pena Morales, had a history of violence towards cops and animals and was convicted of carrying a gun as a felon. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
President of the Indianapolis Fraternal Order of Police, Rick Snyder, says the recent arrest of a man who had been arrested nearly 100 times before goes to show who isn't trying to help keep Indianapolis safe.
I think it proves that once again, police are not the problem, and we're really confronted by our after-the-fact Billy Badass prosecutor and our woke broke criminal justice system.
41-year-old Courtney Booz was identified as the suspect in a stabbing at a gas station from a few days ago that put a man in the hospital in critical condition. You could read more in a story at WIBC.com. After locating DeMonte Hambright Tuesday at a nearby truck stop using flock cameras, deputies in Clark County tried reaching out to him but ended up getting into a pursuit instead. Deputies said Hambright took off in a stolen vehicle, then crashed it. That's when he tried hiding in a soybean field. He was eventually found and taken into custody. There was a homicide warrant out for Hambright in Wisconsin. Now he's also facing a charge of resisting law enforcement in Clark County. Notre Dame's passing game continues to develop around freshman quarterback C.J. Carr, and one of his favorite targets has noticed the growth. Lynn Clark has more.
Wide receiver Jordan Faison says the work in practice has been the difference in Notre Dame's passing attack under C.J. Carr.
But, having those reps over practice and building that trust connection with our quarterback allows us to go out there and perform. Whenever the ball, he's going to put it in the spot, we got to make a play on it.
That rapport has helped spark an Irish offense that's spreading the ball and confusing defenses. For Notre Dame, the connection between Carr and his wideouts may be the difference in pushing the offense to the next level. Len Clark, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
On Saturday, Purdue will host number 22 Illinois. Ball State is home against Ohio, and IU has the week off. They're ranked 8th in the AP poll this week. The Cubs are taking on the Padres in Game 3 of their wildcard series this afternoon. Winner gets the Milwaukee Brewers. First pitch is at 5 o'clock. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. That's 800-948-1659.
This hour powered by Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So you're telling me Mike Pence crawled out of a hole?
He was on stage at the Edward M. Kennedy Institute in Boston.
Oh.
And he actually made a comment about redistricting here in Indiana.
Well, what insightful, uplifting words of wisdom did the former governor of Indiana have to say about redistricting, Casey?
He said, I would defer. He said, whatever angst it creates for people, I would simply defer to the state legislatures and the governor to determine what they think is appropriate, whether it be Indiana, Texas, California, or anywhere else. He did point out that while redistricting mid-decade hasn't been part of the tradition, it also isn't prohibited.
No kidding, idiot. What do you think we should do? So he just has no opinion.
Yeah, pretty much. He's saying let other people who are involved make the call.
Well, way to really step up on that one, buddy.
Strong opinion on that.
The redistricting question, I mean, it's so fascinating. This radio station, because there's 3 shows that I think have 3 very different opinions on it. And that's fine. Tony, and somebody correct me if I'm misquoting him, he believes that it's a wholly political activity and you should go for it and do it. I view it that our elections should be as fair as we can possibly make them. Indiana is basically a 60-40 Republican state. There are currently 78% of our House districts are drawn to protect Republicans. Our House and Senate map is skewed in terms of 70 and 80% Republican, respectively. And I think people have the right to have at least the perception that these maps are somewhat fairly drawn, and we're not just if we're going to do this, then why don't we say whoever wins the presidential race gets all the congressional seats? If that's all we're doing, if the Congress is just a representative of whoever wins your presidential election, then let's just say that. Let's just say whoever wins the presidential election gets Indiana gets 9. All 9 go to whoever wins that. And same thing in California, and same thing in Illinois, and same thing in New York, and same thing in Texas. We are telling people their vote doesn't matter. That's what we're doing by this. And we're also telling the political parties, you don't have to work for votes. If you can't get them by your governance, we'll rig the system to give them over to you. And then you can just go to Washington, D.C. and do whatever you want to do. And the people are basically helpless against being able to do anything about it.
Well, let me ask you this. Are they rigging the system if it's allowed within the Constitution?
Well, I'm not saying they're doing anything illegal. I'm saying, though, you are manipulating, which they're admitting they're doing it.
Yeah.
There's
for political reasons.
There's not a single person, Braun, anybody, Andrew Ireland, the state rep who we had on, they fully admit we're just doing this to score more seats for our party in the Congress. I believe the maps should be drawn as fair and as equitable as they can be, and then may the people with the best ideas and who govern the best, may they win those elections. We're making it so that the governance doesn't matter. The idea of accountability doesn't matter. Oh, we don't like the result, we'll just further draw the thing in our favor, and the people are the ones who are getting screwed in the process.
So Governor Mike Braun has repeatedly said he will only call a special session to redistrict if the legislature will support it. And he has said that he thinks the legislature will eventually get there. Are they having a hard time whipping the votes to make this happen?
Well, totally. That's why they haven't done it. And you shouldn't have to get there on something. There's nothing to get there on. Either you believe in the fairness of elections, which that's why they go through the process that they do. Every 10 years, based on whatever the census has said, that's how many representatives you get. And then you're supposed to look at how many people have moved in and out of each state. The representatives are proportioned according to that. And then inside your own state, you're supposed to take a look at where growth trends have been, who's come, who's gone. You draw the maps accordingly because there has to be equal populations basically in all of these districts. And that's why it's a months-long process where they go across the state, they get input, they hear from people, they hear about things, they try to keep like-minded communities together, etc. And our maps were so good that we're one of the few states in the union who didn't even have a lawsuit. And yet now that's not good enough. Well, I'm sorry. I don't believe the Republican Party has offered me anything that I would say give away what little integrity we have left in our governmental process to give them 2 more seats.
Do you want to talk about that story?
Do you feel differently?
You know what? No, I agree with you that it should be representation of the state and the voters. And if they want to prove their worth, they have to do it through good governance. I also think that if you don't like it, change the Constitution because they're not doing anything illegal.
Well, no, but people do all sorts of things by the letter of the law in government that are not illegal. It doesn't make it right, right? Like, I mean, there's illegal and then there's the right thing to do. And I guess that's in the eye of the beholder. What I don't understand is if there's clearly no passion for this.
Why keep pushing it?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. They're petrified of Trump.
Because they're being strong.
But Trump's not even that popular in our state. I mean, he is the head of the Republican Party. He is a Republican president, and then we are a Republican state. But if your people aren't clamoring for it, and you know what? You know what's interesting? This is the thing the Republicans don't want to talk about. Why aren't people clamoring for it? Because they know what they're going to get with more Republican representation. That's
same old.
That's right.
Yeah.
If the Republicans were doing a great job, people would be storming their legislators' inboxes with phone calls and emails going, do it, do it, do it, do it. People are apathetic to it, though, because they see that the party in power doesn't make any real difference in their lives. Things don't get any better. And they say, well, why should my vote be manipulated to help your party who doesn't actually care about me?
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, you're just going to get another Jefferson Shreve.
Sure. And
Or Jennifer Green, someone who's failing up.
And this is the question I keep asking and no one will answer is, you explain to me why that makes my life better.
Is it going to make your taxes lower?
Right. You explain to me how having one more of those type of person, which that's who you're going to get. You're not going to get some rib rock conservative. You're not going to get some, Thomas Massey type character. You're going to get a vanilla rank and file Republican.
Another party insider.
Who will just do whatever they're told.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me how that makes my life any better or anybody's life any better. And I think we even asked this question to Andrew Ireland, the state rep who came in here, who's supportive of it. Can't do it. So, no, I'm not willing to give away my integrity or what I know to be right just so that you can have more of your club that clearly doesn't want me in it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Right, there's that. Do you want to talk about the guy who was arrested and had 99 prior arrests? Courtney Bowes, they talked about this on the Hammer and Nigel program yesterday. Kind of breaking this story. Libs of TikTok picked it up, and then even Stephen Miller from the White House commenting on it. His charges included trespassing, drug crimes, theft, battery, bodily injury. If you go back through his records back to 2002, he's had 38 misdemeanor cases, 37 felony cases, 9 citations.
And he's still roaming the streets.
Still roaming the streets, correct. And what is he, 41 years old? And he's been charged with attempted murder?
So Rick Snyder was on with Hammer and Nigel yesterday, and they obviously arrested. They talked about his 100 arrests, right? Is that correct?
99.
99. So we'll round up and call it a nice even 100.
Right.
Which will be at 100, probably in all likelihood before all is said and done. And it really sort of is it puts into perspective the problems, plural, with this city sort of in one thing, right? Which you have an individual who clearly on numerous occasions has run afoul of the law.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Casey. These have been oftentimes or more than once violent type offenses.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So
all the cases dismissed or had a plea deal.
So because I've seen some people say, well, he has this issue and he has that issue and that's why he's out, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, maybe he does, but this person should not be out on the streets. They should not be being exposed to decent society. They are clearly a dangerous individual for whatever reason that may be, and that person should not be amongst, out in the regular order.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever reason we want to determine that is, we have to, one, get that person away from the public at large.
Well, you got to know after 99 times he's not learning.
Right. And then get him the help he needs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, different people need different things.
Mm-hmm.
Some people need to be institutionalized. If they can be helped and stop being a threat to everyone else, then getting them, counseling, round-the-clock surveillance, different medication, whatever, then okay, let's do that. Some people are just hardened criminals and need to be put away from society. But yet, we keep seeing these instances, now not all of them this egregious, but of hyper-dangerous individuals who keep getting allowed out into society and many of them reoffending, and then everybody just sort of points a finger at each other. The judges point at the prosecutor.
Mm-hmm.
The prosecutor points at the judges. The judges point at the mayor. The mayor points at the judges. The prosecutor points at the mayor. The mayor points at the prosecutor. Like it's this, like the Spider-Man meme, right? Where everybody's
pointing at each other.
Rather than saying, okay, society just wants the issue solved. Let's just, y'all take thirds on the blame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just all say we're a third to blame, and then everybody come together and figure this out, and nobody's coming together and figuring out the issue, and these people keep getting back out on the street.
Who should be held responsible for this? The judges, the prosecutors?
Well, I think it has to be a collective. That's what I'm saying. I go back to, we had Josh Bain on our show a few weeks ago, city county councilor, and he was grilling one of these, I think it was a Superior Court judge, on letting these people back out onto the street, giving them bail. And the judge, while I think he made some decent points in terms of him trying to say, look, here's the system that's set up, and we have to obey the system that's in place, he was very arrogant and flippant in his response to Josh Bain of the City County Council. And it came off while I'm watching this because I'm torn, because I'm saying, okay, I think he's making some good points here. However, you're so dismissive in the way you're answering this, and you're doing the I'm so smart routine, and I can't even believe I have to answer your questions routine, that it makes me want to hate your guts because the answer should be, look, hey, unfortunately, here's what we have to do. And I hate that I have to do this, but, Counselor, I would welcome working with anyone, including the General Assembly, to say we need to fix our laws to make sure that the blah, 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 blah. That wasn't happening. So I don't know. I just feel like everybody is to blame in this, and the society, the people, are the ones who keep getting
who suffer from it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little bit of narcissism. I'm better than you. There's a little bit of laziness. I don't want to deal with this. Just plea deal. A little bit of 30,000 warrants are out in Indianapolis. Too many cases. Combination of everything, perhaps.
And it's going to keep happening. That's the reality. You have to accept that if you come to Indianapolis, you are going to, one, experience mass rage trying to get to whatever destination you seek. And two, you have to just accept that a way of life in the greater downtown area, I mean, it's true throughout the city, but obviously we're talking about a population center here, is that you just have to continually have your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
Wherever you go.
It's different than the way it used to be.
Yeah.
It's Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
A car chase and a crash.
Speeds are 100. Traffic's light. Still going southbound.
93 WIBC.
They can't see straight. They're blinded by it.
An extension of Obamacare subsidies.
Really pretty crazy and stupid thing.
Stay in the know.
Plane getting ready to take off.
While you're on the go.
Hit another jet that had just landed.
The car was driven into members of the public.
Hear the news.
And that one man had been stabbed.
When it comes down to humanity, that would cross almost all faith.
On air, online, and on Alexa.
Buy more, save more at Scandinavian Designs Furniture. For a limited time, save $200 instantly for every $800 you spend in store. It's the perfect way to complete your look for less. Or splurge on your dream piece, from living room to bedroom. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
Scandinavian Designs Furniture in Castleton and at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
There's one name for every home system: Chapman. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, drains, electrical, and now proudly serving Bloomington. Remember the man for all seasons, and now more reasons. Chapman. ChapmanHeating.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use, now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Up to 50% off and 2.99% financing, plus receive an additional $550 off your project.
Because at B Windows,
we mean business. We mean business.
I have a question.
Okay.
Does Blues Traveler have another hit other than this song?
They have But Anyway, Run Around, and Hook.
This is Runaround.
Yes.
We just played.
Mhm.
So they had 3 songs that would be considered hits.
Yeah, 3 big ones, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that wasn't really the point of this segment. I have no idea what Kev is going to play, and I didn't know. Because he was massive, therefore...
John Hopper.
And it's not, he was a well-fed guy, therefore I'm not trying to make a hey, he's heavy joke. I mean, he was like a huge deal for a couple of years there where he was on TV shows and everything.
Yeah, and then they still play the same songs when they go on a tour.
Isn't that interesting?
It's like the same 3 songs you're looking forward to.
Well, and I think he's got some sort of show coming up here, or he was just here. Or...
They're coming to the Fishers Event Center on February 20th. They're going to be there with the Gin Blossoms, and it's part of that Hamilton Southeastern Education Foundation. It's their 2nd annual legacy celebration.
Oh, okay. So
Tickets are already on sale for that, by the way.
Yes, the schools don't have enough money. You need to do more stuff to give the schools more money. But I do wonder when you go now. I would imagine there's not like groupies that follow Blues Traveler around.
Right. Not like deadheads or anything that follow the Grateful Dead or.
But I do wonder, like at those sort of shows, I mean, how many hardcore Blues Traveler fans are there? Obviously, everybody knows Runaround. That was a massive hit. It was just a huge deal in the 90s. Remember it as a kid. And so I get that you hear that and you're like, hey, I love that song. It's a great song. But how many people are so familiar with the Blues Traveler portfolio that after the 3-ish songs that you named...
That's what you go to see them for. Play the 3 songs.
But then what do you do?
Right.
Like, let's take Bertie Higgins, the guy that did the Key Largo song. We had it all. Massive hit in the early 1980s.
But that's it.
That's it.
Right.
What does Bertie Higgins do? Does he do a 90-minute rendition of Key Largo?
I hope not, because that would be painful.
Or Rupert Holmes, the Pina Colada guy. He had the Answering Machine song that was a top 40 hit, but that's it. What does Rupert Holmes do at his concerts?
Is he still putting on concerts?
Are there like 7 different verses to the Pina Colada song that didn't make the airwaves that, now I'm going to do an acoustic version. Now I'm going to do a piano version. Now I'm going to do the version with the 7 different verses that didn't make the airwaves. Like, what do those people do to entertain you for, an hour and a half?
Try and create a sing-along with the crowd? Or here's an album cut. I mean, after you play the hit, they're all album cuts, right?
I think you got to go to this thing. You got to get yourself a ticket. Don't pay because we don't want to help. We don't want to contribute any money.
I like
You're
Blues
a celebrity.
Traveler and Gin Blossoms. I used to play the heck out of those songs.
Well, then you should
when I was doing music radio. I've actually seen Blues Traveler in concert.
Oh, so what'd he do? You know the answer to this. Why did you lead me on the whole?
Well, they play their other songs that you're just not familiar with. However, I will say he's a really fantastic harmonica player.
No. Come back. I can't believe you died at the beginning. We're like, well, Rob, I've seen them in concert, and here's what they do.
They play their other songs that you just don't know.
So does the audience just sit there and go...
Well, this was in the 90s when they were just coming out, and they were very popular. So, the one thing that I remember the most about that concert, it was in Chicago. It was in a small theater, and Dennis Rodman was there. And he was like...
At the same concert you were at.
Yeah. But he was up in like the VIP balcony area.
Sure.
And I had more of a floor general admission seat. But when Dennis Rodman showed up, Blues Traveler was playing, but everybody's attention just went up to the balcony.
Now, was this in Chicago? Okay. Were you there as a member of the media or were you there just as a fan?
I was a member of the media. I mean, that's why I went, how I went.
So when you go to a Rolling Stones concert, now obviously it's a lot more people.
Yeah.
But people pretty much know every word, or Jimmy Buffett when he was alive, or blah, blah, blah. But at the Blues Traveler concert, what does the crowd do when he's playing the other
kind of sway along
songs? Okay.
Just I do recall I didn't stay for the whole show.
You left early?
Right, because they had played the 3 songs.
Oh, and you're like, I don't care anymore.
Right.
Oh, wait. That's fascinating to me. He doesn't string people along because, hey, this is my hit, and I know you came to see this hit, so I'm going to keep you the whole time.
No, it's not like they had an encore at the end where you're waiting for the hit. No, they played it. They played it in the set.
What an interesting move.
Yeah. So.
And then you're like, see ya?
Right. Okay. Came for what I wanted. Now I'm out.
Typical woman move. I got what I wanted. Now I'm out of here.
Now I'm leaving. Well, their song Hook, it's actually kind of a tongue-in-cheek song, right? Catchy little, because the hook brings you back, but it's actually satire of all pop songs. And if you listen to the lyrics of that, they don't really mean anything. It's a literal statement about songwriting and a metaphor about how people are just drawn to familiarity and things that comfort them.
Okay, so let's take a break. We learned something about our brains today that I feel we need to share with the audience.
Okay.
Because if you're not doing something, it could be very bad for your brain. And I'm in big trouble.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, BOOHER, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. BOOHER, BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
Football is back, and so are great hairlines. We Grow Hair Indy has helped former local professional football players get back in the game with full natural hair. You don't have to play pro ball to get pro-level results. Hey, it's Rob, and I knew I picked the right team when I needed a Hail Mary for my hair. I called We Grow Hair Indy. Whether you're tailgating, coaching, or watching from the couch, do it with confidence. Trade the sidelines for a hairline. Get back in the game at We Grow Hair Indy. Schedule your free evaluation today at WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com or call 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. Enjoy being out and about this fall. Enjoy watching the games in person with your friends with confidence you haven't had in years. And you can do it with a trip to We Grow Hair Indy. 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
What happened while chasing a wanted man? I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:30. IMPD and state police are investigating a fatal crash from last night that happened after a Chicago man identified as Marco Antonio Pena Morales led officers on a chase into Johnson County, his mother reacting.
I don't know nothing, so I don't know what happened.
Morales was wanted for aggravated assault and had other previous trouble with the law. NDFOP President Rick Snyder is putting the blame on Marion County judges and the prosecutor for a man arrested again who had already had 90 previous arrests. Clark County deputies end up finding a homicide suspect from Wisconsin on Tuesday in a soybean field. DeMonte Hambright ended up crashing a stolen vehicle while trying to outdrive deputies. And it's win in advance or go home for the Cubs this afternoon in Game 3 of their wildcard series with the Padres' first pitch at 5. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln and Fishers. Come see the full line of breathtaking Lincoln vehicles at Indiana's premier Lincoln dealership. From the moment you arrive at Tom Roush Lincoln, you'll know you've arrived. Shop over 200 new Lincolns in our state-of-the-art family-owned and operated dealership with no pressure. Just the award-winning service and respect you deserve, plus complimentary pickup and delivery for service. Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln and Fishers.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit CentralIndianaGunShows.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is James at Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling. You can trust us with all your heating and cooling needs. We have over 150 years of combined experience.
PricePointComfort.com. Price Point Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air dealer.
Okay, so this is interesting. Poor sleep can age your brain by a year.
If that's the case, I'm 100 years old.
It's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. So Study Finds has this article that I guess some group in Sweden, it's always Sweden, right? Did some sort of study. They studied brain scans and sleep patterns of more than 27,000 middle-aged and older adults in the UK. And what they found is the people who had poor sleep habits had brains that looked older than their actual age.
Moderately poor sleepers had brains about 7 months older on average. So again, I'm like a rotisserie chicken. And I'm just flopping around. So if that's the case, yikes, I'm in for some trouble.
Okay, how many hours a night do
I get sleep or do I try?
Yeah. Oh, how much do you actually think you sleep in a night?
Probably 4 to 5 hours.
Total?
Yeah, of actual sleep. I try to get at least 6 or 7.
No. Does that count I know you cheat in the middle of the day and take a nap.
I do.
You do. Do you count that as your total?
I get better sleep during the day than I do at night.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Now, I'm sure one is because of the other.
But that's what I'm asking you. Is when you say 4 to 5 hours, are you counting your nap or you get 4 to 5 hours and my nap?
No, the 4 to 5 is just at night.
Right. So collectively, how much would you say you sleep during the day?
During the day when I nap, or total?
The whole day, Casey, in a 24-hour period. How much would you say you sleep?
Probably 6.5.
Okay. I would guess that's in the middle range, because don't they say you're supposed to get 8 hours of sleep total? Okay, more than half fell into the intermediate category with 2 or 3 healthy sleep characteristics. They base your sleep score on 5 key factors: being an early bird rather than a night owl, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep per day, rarely experiencing insomnia, not snoring, not feeling excessively sleepy during the day.
How about you? Where would you score on this?
Well, so Kevin and I were talking about this before we went on the air. The problem I have, everything you ever asked me, we'll start with the problem I have, is I had such a weird, just existence for so long where I was a self-employed. I was a business owner, but I wasn't a business owner like I have a factory that I go to every day and I have to be there. I literally worked out of my house for basically a decade.
So is it hard to turn it off?
Well, I didn't I could just sleep whenever I wanted.
Oh, okay.
My primary actual work was really Fridays and Saturdays, but during the week I didn't have, I think most people know this, I owned a company for years that streamed high school and college sporting events on the internet when that was very groundbreaking, when not everybody had a cellular telephone in their hand or whatever. But I could stay up till 3 and then I could sleep till noon. It was no problem. Time was irrelevant to me. And the problem is I got used to being able to do that, and now as an adult with responsibilities, I can't do that. But I think something broke in me that was dependent on doing that, and now they frown on you if you just leave your 2-year-old to their own druthers and take a nap.
Yes. No, that's not so great. Can't do that.
What is the advantage of getting up early? That's what I would love.
Being an early bird?
Because
I don't know. Does it have something to do with your rhythm?
Well, what I can't figure out is this. So it's dark now until 8 a.m. in Indiana. When you drive, you basically drive in the darkness. How is that an advantage if I get up at 5 and it's dark versus if I go to bed, like it's still dark, like I guess in the summer, maybe more daylight hours, more sunshine. I don't understand that, though, what difference it makes when you sleep as long as you get the sleep.
The study said that men are more affected than women by poor sleep and their brain aging.
Totally, I'd agree with that.
You think so?
Do you ever what?
Nearly 60% of the people who participated in this study said that they had less than ideal sleep.
Oh, totally.
It's a common issue. And I would think it's getting worse.
But I also think I have to factor in the nap I take normally in the middle of the day. Like, doesn't that count towards my sleep?
Your overall sleep for the day.
Like, if I only get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, but then I also get an hour and a half nap in the middle of the day, I have to count that, right? Because it's
your total day's sleep, right?
Towards the same thing. My problem I have is I wake up, and I never used to do this before Livy, is I wake up in the middle of the night now, even though she sleeps through the night. She's not a problem with this anymore. But I just instinctively wake up in the middle of the night, and then like it takes me an hour to go back to sleep. There's no rhyme or reason for it. Like I woke up at 3:14 this morning.
And did you check your phone when you woke up?
I have a pretty good idea of what time it is. It's like, I don't know why, but I have a pretty good, even in the middle of the night, what time it is. I checked my phone, and it was right about what I thought. I've been asleep for 4 hours or whatever, and I was right. But then I just laid there for about an hour, and then I finally went back to sleep, and then woke up about 6 o'clock and was able to go on. But I have this it's a reoccurring thing where I wake up and then I don't go back to bed.
Now, when you check your phone, are you just checking the time, or are you getting on X and looking at stories to see if there's any breaking news or anything like that?
Here's the pattern. I wake up, I check the phone, I try to go back to sleep, I can't go back to sleep. After about 5 minutes, I'm like, this is boring, and then I get on the phone, which I'm sure then is the continuation of not being able to go back to sleep.
Right, because that blue light and the screen time, they say that really is detrimental to trying to sleep.
But I should be able to go back to sleep once I've awakened from my sleep. I think that's where the problem is that I try to go back to sleep and then I can't go back to sleep.
All right, well, you got to improve your sleep habit, right? They say that's a key tool to protecting your brain health.
Look at this brain.
Especially as we age.
Look at me.
Look at me. You could also exercise, diet, mental stimulation. That all affects your brain health as well. I feel like the phone and the TV, that really affects people's sleep.
Oh, no doubt.
And worry as well.
Phones ruined everything for me.
That's a big factor into everything. So study finds they also did another study, and they said 1 in 5 pet owners carry at least $2,000 in pet-related debt.
How much?
$2,000.
They allow you to rack up debt with your pet? Like if you go to the vet?
Go to the vet.
Or are they saying you got to put it on your credit card and then you got to pay it off? That's probably what they're saying.
24% of owners say they're being priced out of pet ownership. The lifetime cost of a pet, $32,000 for a cat, $35,000 for a dog.
$35,000 for the entire time you own.
Lifetime cost of a pet. Yeah, of a dog.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
Like food is expensive.
Owning a large dog now average $5,200 a year. And an emergency vet visit can cost you nearly $2,000. So a lot of owners are saying they can't afford it anymore, and the current pet that they have will be their last pet.
Did you ever keep track over the course of the year what it costs to have your kid? Like food, everything. Like I'm going to do that, I think, next year. I'm going to keep
Start
track.
in January?
I'm going to just keep a tab because I always tell Livy every day, I'm like, okay, now you owe me whatever. But I think I'm going to do it for real and see what it actually costs me.
Actually total it up.
Over the course of the year, what it costs.
We should have done that when she was born, because that diaper cost is going to be a lot higher in the formula cost, which that's going away.
That was a great moment in time when you could get off the formula. That was just so much cheaper. Yeah, no, that's fascinating. That is man, everything sucks. Everything is just so expensive.
Oh, yikes. 94 million U.S. households now include a pet. 2 in 3 Americans say pets are part of the American dream. Like, when you think I have achieved the American dream, owning a pet is part of that.
My house is not big enough for animals and children.
Well, not that the child's walking and talking and having her own opinion.
Like
I can't wait for those opinions to get louder and louder as she gets older. It's gonna be great.
Here's how it's going to work in our house when she goes to school. Who's your dad? What's he do? I don't know what he does for a living. That's what it's going to, that's what the way it's going to be for us. I don't want her to know anything about me until she reads about it on the internet someday.
That's the goal, though. You don't want to be in the newspaper. So who gives more to charity, cat owners or dog owners?
Dog owners, no doubt.
That's correct.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Cat
okay.
owners.
Steve Harvey.
Cat owners donated 14 times more.
I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah.
No way.
That's what the study says.
We're going to put Dog Lover up against Crazy Catwoman, and you're telling me Crazy Catwoman beats Dog Lover in terms of charity? They're 14 times?
14 times more likely cat owners will give to charity, but dog owners are more likely to give larger one-time gifts.
Oh, yeah.
Just not as frequently.
Yeah, they don't want to be pestered.
And the political leanings of a pet type, you can guess this.
Yeah, more conservative dog owners.
Mm-hmm. And cat owners tend to lean more Democratic. Yeah. So we've got Halloween coming up. I'm curious, your thoughts on this. Is Livy going to be in costume? Is she going to be trick-or-treating?
Yeah, we're going to do it this year. We didn't do it last year, but she's old enough now. I think we'll do like the trunk or treat thing with church. I don't think I'm going to let her go knock on strangers' doors, or I don't want to go out.
Do you know what she's going to be dressed up as?
Tyrant.
So just her normal day outfit? The top candy in America?
Snickers.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Followed by peanut M&Ms and then Kit Kats.
Snickers not even on the list, huh?
No.
Are you saying the top candy they're giving out, or just the most liked?
America's favorite Halloween candy.
Halloween candy. Okay, yeah. Do you
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
I bet you don't get many trick-or-treaters in the...
We had candy last year and we didn't get a single.
So you just had to eat it.
Darn it! We did. Hate when that happens. Oh, man.
All right. Abdul is going to join us next. We'll talk about this interesting piece that James Briggs had in the Indy Star yesterday about property taxes. Look, everyone hates the property tax bill. Rightfully so. We'll talk about it next with Abdul.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
This afternoon on the Hammer and Nigel Show, the latest on government shutdown. Rob Kendall will go off the rails, and it's my birthday today. Let the beer flow like wine.
Hey, listen, are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob, and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, call Bob right now. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. That's 800-890-5075. Paid for by Term Direct.
Don Fisher for QC Kinetics. I was struggling with chronic knee pain and wasn't encouraged with the options of risky surgery and pain pills. QC Kinetics offered the best option for me, cutting-edge regenerative medicine. Their non-invasive treatment stimulated my body's own biologics so I could be pain-free and get back to doing what I love, playing golf. QC Kinetics has a fantastic success rate, and it's clear to see why so many Hoosiers are happy to tell their story of how they reclaimed their lives with the QC Kinetics approach. Ready to live your life pain-free? Go to qckinetics.com/Indianapolis or call 317-559-PAIN and get a no-obligation consultation. QC Kinetics uses the latest technologies, whether it's stem cell, PRP, plasma, or a number of other advanced therapies. Call QC Kinetics. It'll be the best call you will make. Get back in the game, whatever that is for you. Call 317-559-PAIN.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade this Saturday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit CentralIndianaGunShows.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Save 50% on all pottery and herbaceous perennials at Sundown Gardens, 186th Street, Spring Mill Road in Westfield, sundown.gardens.com.
Hammer and Nigel are going live this week from Coach's Tavern this Friday, brought to you by the Finnish Long Drink. Swing by for awesome drink specials, grab some WIBC swag, and join the party all evening long.
17, caught in between what I was and what I wanted to be. I was listening.
So we've been saying on this program for the last several months that property tax bill going to end up doing a lot more harm than good. And our next guest, he agrees with that. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here joining us now on the WIBC hotline. You know him as the owner and operator of IndyPolitics.org, the great Abdul-Hakim Shabazz. Abdul-Hakim Shabazz, hello.
Coming to you live from Detroit, Michigan this morning.
Oh, by choice or by force?
A little bit of both. I'm at an economic conference for journalists. So we're actually talking about economics, decisions consumers make, choices, the whole 9 yards. It's actually been pretty good. Actually learned a bunch of stuff. Go figure. Who knew?
Okay, so speaking of economics, one of the economics of the state of Indiana has been the stated goal, I guess we will say, of the governor, Mike Braun, and the General Assembly to put more money back in the pockets of Hoosiers with these skyrocketing property tax bills. And in the most government thing ever, Abdul, they managed to pass a bill in Senate Bill 1 that everybody sort of, other than the governor and the legislature, seems to universally hate. And now we're starting to see the things that we've been saying on this program for the last several months, which is it doesn't really provide all that much relief, but the ramifications of it are going to be immense. What say you?
Yes, and it's funny because one thing we're talking about at my conference is about choices and the choices consumers have to make, and making those choices with a finite number of resources. So, do I want this or do I want this? If I do this, then I got to give up this. And I think, in a nutshell, that's what this property tax debate discussion boils down to. We want less government, but we don't want to pay for less government. And in a nutshell, that's what the dilemma is. We want our property taxes cut. Okay, fine. But remember, property taxes pay for roads, schools, police, infrastructure, the whole 9 yards. I'm not for small or big government. I'm for smart, efficient government. And sometimes government's got to spend more to take care of certain things that need to be taken care of, and sometimes it can spend less or turn over to the private sector. So I think fundamentally that's what the dilemma is. You can't. Hoosiers are notorious, and I've been here for more than 20 years. I want to do things on the cheap. Now, like I said, understand not buying every new shiny object, every new Taj Mahal school district or school building. However, stuff costs money, and you got choices you got to make. Do you want the property tax cuts? Okay, fine. If you get that, then you can't get this.
Well, okay, so I think that, and by the way, we talked about this earlier in the program. James Briggs has an article about this in the Indy Star and about the cuts, and I'm not opposed to the cuts. I think it's a hard sell when you say, hey, Brownsburg's got 4 field houses and 2 football stadiums now, and we're rebuilding a track because we built it in the wrong direction 20 years ago. Like, I don't think anything, those are necessities. I think when you're proposing spending $100 million where I live on an amphitheater and a rec center, an aquatic center, it's a hard sell to say you're hurting. The issue I have with it is I don't feel like they really gave people much relief. And now you've opened the Pandora's box with these local income tax increases that are available. A lot of these schools are going to be going for referendums. I think people are going to end up paying more in taxes as a result of this bill.
And once again, that's the result of choices that were made. We wanted property tax caps. We wanted property tax cuts. Okay, fine, but stuff still's got to be paid for. And here's the other thing too. These like I said, the Carmel Palladium and all this other stuff. Once again, these are a result of choices. People elected, these people to be in office, and you get what you pay for, and you get what you vote for. So once again, it goes back to those choices that people make. You don't want the Aquanair or or Natatorium or this, then vote the bastards out. But you keep sending them back in office. So guess what? You're rewarding their behavior.
Abdul is our guest. Find him over at indypolitics.org. We're talking about property taxes in the state of Indiana. Is one of the problems, you've covered Indiana politics and government for 20 years now, is one of the problems that Braun, yes, he was in the legislature for a couple of years, but he by and large has no idea the intricacies of state government, how it all works, certainly from an executive position. And let's face it, when you're dealing with something as complex as property taxes, it shouldn't be this complex, but they've made it this complex, they being the governments over time, you got to really know the ins and outs of all this stuff, and you got to be able to drive something home. Is the problem with Braun, one, he didn't have that knowledge, and two, he never really was all that passionate about property taxes. He sort of went to that by force.
Well, my experience with Mike Braun has never been a legislator type. Mike Braun has always been sort of that executive type. Like I said, he had his own business, ran for governor, was in the Senate, wasn't happy with that, but like being one of 100. Mike Braun likes being that executive type leader. However, if you're going to be that executive type leader, you got to do more than talk about, innovation and entrepreneurship. I get all that, because the old joke is, if I did a shot every time Mike said entrepreneurship, I'd be drunk in 10 minutes. Now, but and you know what I'm talking about. However, with that said, state government it's complicated, but in a way it sort of should be, because change can be difficult to make, because real change happens over long periods of time and slow. When change gets rushed, things don't turn out the way they're supposed to, i.e. the property taxes. Like I said, but once again, and then you've got 100 lawmakers, you've got how many counties, how many townships, how much government here in Indiana, and it overlaps. So it's a lot more complicated than I think the Braun people thought it was going to be when they came in.
Yeah, and you've also got to want to do it, and you got to want to drive it, and you've got to be able to have. It just seemed like he so badly wanted to just check the box that sometimes you got to. It's like Reagan dealing with the Soviets, right? You got to be willing to walk away. And when he got dealt this crappy bill that came out of the General Assembly, instead of saying, we ain't doing that, I'll see you in a special session, and we'll just keep having them until we fix this. He just was so desperate to get anything that he goes, okay, cool, I'll take this, without sort of understanding the ramifications of the thing.
Well, sometimes when you really, really want to win, sometimes it's better to take the loss and then come back. Like, hey, you know what, guys, we're not going to get this done today. Let's do some temporary property tax credits to help folks with the assessments. Then let's come back and get this thing done the right way. Because sometimes when you try to do things early, you can technically mess things up even more so by trying to fix things on the cheap.
Find him over at indypolitics.org. He'll be back with us next week in person. Abdul Hakim Shabazz, thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you to you for listening. You're the most important part of the equation. Without you, there is no us. Great job by Kevin. Great job by Casey. And we will see you tomorrow. Stick around. Tony Katz coming up next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Are you ready to build your custom dream home? Joyner Homes is ready to make your dream come true. Over 18 years, Joyner Homes, based out of Greenfield, have built hundreds of homes in central Indiana, and the best place to start is JoynerHomes.com. That's where you'll find pricing, photos of completed Joyner homes to inspire you, available home sites, and info on where you can visit their model homes and a lot more. Be sure to check out Joyner Homes' 5-star Google reviews. Get started today at JoynerHomes.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Up to 50% off and 2.99% financing, plus receive an additional $550 off your project.
Because at B Windows,
we mean business. We mean business.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up. This is about making sure we focus on the worst first.
30 to 35 masked agents.
Someone who says that I'm against abortion.
During that chase, it went past a bus stop.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
What this process is all about and why not everyone is on board. You've got a mostly sunny sky and it's 77 degrees on Monument Circle. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. The first group of detainees held by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement have arrived at the Miami Correctional Facility. Ryan Hedrick reports.
This arrangement kicks off a state-federal deal that's drawn some pushback from people and left questions about just how many detainees will be held at the facility.
All along, I've said due process, and this is about making sure we focus on the worst first.
Governor Mike Braun spoke Wednesday as the facility took in 15 people held by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. That number expected to hit 100 by week's end. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC, Mobile News.
ICE has also been busy in the Windy City. Fox's Jeff Manasso.
ICE agents here in Chicago say Operation Midway Blitz has led to hundreds of arrests as part of mass deportation efforts, including the latest detainment outside a homeless shelter on the city's south side Wednesday in what a shelter spokesperson described as an ambush.
It was about 30 to 35 masked agents in the streets all over the place. You saw chaos, and they just completely caught everybody off guard.
That as the city and state continues refusing to work with ICE, as the Department of Homeland Security also continues targeting what it calls the worst of the worst criminals here in the country illegally. In Chicago, Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
And for the first time, Pope Leo is commenting on U.S. politics. While speaking with reporters, he had this to say about U.S. immigration policies.
Someone who says that I'm against abortion, but I'm in agreement with the inhuman treatment of immigrants who are in the United States. I don't know if that's pro-life.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, though, pushed back on that, saying she rejects the idea that illegal immigrants are treated inhumanely, although she says that was actually the case during the previous administration when they were being trafficked over the southern border. As for how state police in Indiana are trying to keep cities safe, here's 93 WIBC's Johnette Cruz.
Indiana Governor Mike Braun on Wednesday visited state police posts to recognize officers for their hard work. The governor's message centered on appreciation and the impact of the troopers' efforts on community safety, emphasizing the removal of dangerous drugs on the streets. Statewide, police have seized over 51 pounds of fentanyl this year. He also highlighted a major success against child predators. Operation Guardian Angel has led to 48 arrests since August. Troopers also in the Indianapolis area have removed 47 illegal firearms and seized 14 pounds of fentanyl. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A man with a long rap sheet of arrests has is back in custody, and many people are wondering why he was ever let out. Jarrett Lewis with that story.
It's because the number of times 41-year-old Courtney Booz has been arrested nears 100. His most recent, police say, was for stabbing a 69-year-old man at a gas station earlier this week. President of the Indianapolis Fraternal Order of Police, Rick Snyder, blames the Marion County judicial system.
When you're arrested 99 times, I think it begs the question, what's the number? What's the number of times where somebody in a black robe finally says, you know what, I don't think this guy is getting it?
Snyder told WIBC's Hamer and Nigel on Wednesday that Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears has already reduced the attempted murder charge against Booz to aggravated battery. Jarrett Lewis, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
This is day 2 of the government shutdown, which means some government workers are about to lose their jobs.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt saying that these layoffs could be imminent. She's saying that it could be thousands of workers that we're talking about potentially being permanently laid off. Now, the president is going to have a meeting with Russ Vought, the OMB director. The president, we should get an idea maybe of exactly what agencies or what departments and what programs might be targeted from that. Now, the president following that up, poking fun at Democrats, saying, I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. Vice President J.D. Vance says the administration will have to take extraordinary measures to make sure the government operates again. All of it designed to add pressure to a clean CR, to get that passed, to keep the government open. A negotiation over the full budget could begin after that.
That's Fox Business's Edward Lawrence reporting. Police believe a man from Indianapolis named Jamarius Bryant stole a Ford Edge, and he was in Elkhart when he was spotted by Elkhart police, and that caused a chase Wednesday.
During that chase, it went past a bus stop where a teenage girl was attempting to get out of the way of the vehicle and kind of stumbled or fell and kind of fell into the side and was struck by that fleeing vehicle.
State Police Sergeant Ted Bonner says the girl's okay, but eventually Bryant got into Marshall County after nearly hitting 2 Plymouth police officers and collided with a Prius. No one was hurt, but Bryant was tased and arrested on several charges, one of which is attempted murder. After just 4 games with the team, Indianapolis Colts cornerback Xavier Howard is leaving football. In a social media post put out Wednesday, Howard said he's retiring and no longer wants to put football before his family. The 4-time Pro Bowler was out of the league for 1 year before signing with the Colts in August. 8 of Howard's 9 NFL seasons were with the Miami Dolphins. Well, the Colts are looking to get back into the win column after suffering their first loss of the season to the Los Angeles Rams last Sunday. Head coach Shane Steichen on Wednesday discussed how he views the team's performance so far through 4 games.
I just like the camaraderie of where our guys are at. And, through the first 4 weeks, it's been solid. But, again, it's a week by week. I mean, we got to continue that and continue to get better as a football team each and every week.
The first of back-to-back games at home at Lucas Oil Stadium will be with the 1-3 Las Vegas Raiders this Sunday. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock Eastern. Some traffic right now. You got some slow traffic on I-65 northbound between Raymond Street and I-70. Also some slow traffic on I-65 southbound between Michigan Street and Fletcher Avenue. I'm John Herrick on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour powered by Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
Well, hey there, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Tony Katz Today. I, of course, am not Tony Katz. Tony is off today, as this is the most sacred, important holiday in the Jewish calendar. Today is Yom Kippur, and, I wish those of you who are observing, well, actually, if you're observing, you're not listening right now in any case. And if you are, shame on you. I mean that jokingly. But for those who do observe, solemnly, I wish you all the best on this Day of Atonement. And it's a solemn day. We're going to get to that in a second because there's stuff going on, obviously, overseas here. I want to start off here. Well, let's talk about what's on the show today. We've got Erica Donalds joining us in just a couple of minutes. She's with the America First Policy Institute doing education policy. Tommy Aiello from National Taxpayers Union to talk about the shutdown. Lots of discussion about the shutdown. Zachary Marshall talking about anti-Semitism on campus. He's from Campus Reform. My good buddy Jerry Rogers, the editor of Real Clear Policy and Real Clear Health, as well as Scotty Nell Hughes, now a fellow at Frontiers of Freedom, all going to be joining us to talk about the news of the day and what's happening. If you want to join the conversation, You can always call us here at 317-239-9393, and you can message me if you don't want to call in. You can message me on Facebook. You can at me on Twitter. I still call it Twitter, at Andrew_Langer. On Twitter, Facebook.com/Andrew Langer Show is how you message me there. You're welcome to do that if something catches your ear. I want to say this. I had a wonderful evening last night, and it sets things up for today. And it gets to the issue of why community is so vital and so important. I work in D.C. I don't live in D.C. I don't even live near D.C. anymore. I live several hours away. I lived on the Eastern Shore of Maryland for a very long time. And the Eastern Shore of Maryland has a great deal in common with the rural areas in Indiana, much of which is within Tony's listening area. Actually, not just in Indiana, but all over the Midwest. I lived in a farming town, an agricultural town in the Midwest, and I had the opportunity. I lived in a farming town on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. I had the opportunity last night to go and speak in Queen Anne's County, Maryland, and it reinforced to me just how vital and important these connections are, the importance of community. Seeing folks I hadn't seen, some of whom I haven't seen in about a decade. Brought one of my kids out with me to this, who had grown up in this community, and it really was just amazing. And as important in all of this, heard a great speech from Andy Harris, Congressman Andy Harris, who is the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, and he helped crystallize what is going on with this government shutdown and what is at stake. But before we get to that, before we talk about these things, I do have to talk about what's happening over in the UK right now. There was an horrendous attack today, this morning, our time, on a synagogue in Manchester, in England. Again, the most sacred day in the Jewish calendar is Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. It is the day that Jews go to synagogue and they ask for God's forgiveness for their sins in the year before, and all of their transgressions. This is an important day. It really sets up the whole year. Yes, Rosh Hashanah is the new year. Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement, and it is the day when listen. We all know this in other faiths. There are people of the variety of flavors of Christianity who only go to church on Christmas Eve and Easter. There are Jews who go to synagogue on Yom Kippur, and it is one of those situations where, imagine as you're contemplating life and you're trying to understand what is happening and why this attack is so significant. Imagine if there was a terrorist attack on Easter Sunday or on Christmas. The day that any kind of an attacker would know that the largest portion of a Christian church's population is going to be in church that day. That's the significance here with this attack. And it underscores the problems that the UK is facing and has faced. Part of what drove Brexit was a real discomfort and concern with the changing face of the UK. I had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to sit down with Liz Truss, who was Prime Minister of the UK, to talk about free speech and free speech under attack. We talk about it here. The left certainly is trying to talk about free speech under attack, in the wake of the idiotic Jimmy Kimmel situation, right? As though that is in any way approaching, whether, it's people being jailed in the UK for exercising their freedom of speech, their freedoms of expression, or Charlie Kirk being struck down in the prime of his life by an assassin's bullet. The idea that sort of Jimmy Kimmel or Stephen Colbert, that they're being fired for a variety of reasons, or in the case of Kimmel, being temporarily suspended. I mean, good Lord. As other folks have said, it's like It's like Jimmy Kimmel was somehow transported back from the gulag, which is an insane way of looking at things. But Liz Truss, when I talked to her a couple of weeks back, she had this to say about what is at stake for Western civilization. Go ahead and play cut number 15, Landon.
Also, reasserting the values that underlie Western civilization.
Right.
And having institutions that are explicitly based on that.
Right.
That's important because it's not enough to be neutral.
Right.
When you're fighting people who are actively against 100%. Your civilization.
Right. There are folks who fundamentally want to transform. And they've wanted to do it in Europe. They've wanted to undermine the various, individual national cultures in Europe, and just destroy national identities and fundamentally shift the values. Right? Let's remember that our American system of jurisprudence relies heavily on the British system. Now, of course, we fought a revolution because, frankly, the king and the parliament were not adhering, or they didn't believe that the colonial citizens had the same rights as true blue Englishmen. But that being said, we owe a great deal of the way we approach government and governance to that system, to what was laid out in Magna Carta, et cetera. And so as Europe is fighting these things and people are being jailed in the UK, we're fighting for those things here. And of course, the same forces that are at work to undermine those things are the same forces that are working. In point of fact, right, this underlies this shutdown. And yeah, we're going to be joined in a moment by Erica Donalds. We may ask her about this. Obviously, I know she wants to talk about education policy. But we're going to talk about this shutdown and what's really at stake and the misinformation and disinformation that is being put out there. At the end of the day, folks, the government has shut down because Republicans finally held the line on making sure that American taxpayer dollars were taking care of American taxpayers and not folks who have come here either illegally or legally. If you come here, if you migrate here legally, it should not be left to the rest of the American taxpayers to foot your bill, right? You come here, you got to stand on your own. And I'm sorry if that sounds mean, but that's the way it works. Milton Friedman made it really clear. You cannot have mass migration and an unfettered social welfare state. That is how you bankrupt and destroy a nation. That is what the Democrats are trying to do. That is what Europe is fighting against. And we'll talk about how this is playing out in education policy and elsewhere with Erica Donalds from America First Policy Institute. I'm Andrew Langer, in for Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today.
When you wake up,
you understand this is about money. 1,000%. They started this.
When you work,
as long as the category was all Bruce Springsteen all the time.
I told you I think I could win a game of Jeopardy. I could not go on a run.
When you drive home,
is it time to try something new, you think? Because it hasn't worked, and maybe try something new.
Traffic when you need it.
Stopped on 465 again.
And updates all the time.
I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go.
Stay in the know wherever you go with 93 WIBC.
What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity, of course, and it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, prioritizing your most important connections, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. And it would let you stream 4. That's right, 4 games on one screen. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. It would be proactive and fix problems before you knew you had them. Impressive, right? And it would have security features that protect you from threats at home and online. Kinda like a force field for your life. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, well, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected, no matter what. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
Are you worried about your taxes? Okay, so I'm talking to those of you out there that have not filed in a few years with the IRS or state. It's time to get worried, and here's why. The IRS is getting back from their own COVID lockdown, and they're hiring more enforcers, and they're going to come after people that owe taxes. So if you're a 1099 worker, and maybe you just plain forgot to file your taxes, you need to call the professionals right now at the Tax Helpline. They are experts at knowing the tax regulations, and their goal is to help you pay as little as possible. Call right now and get a 100% free tax evaluation. Remember, before the IRS knocks on your door, knock on our door. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, make this free call right now.
Call Texas 321 now at 800-808-9443. 800-808-9443. That's 800-808-9443.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow. With rising utility costs, rising product costs, and missed opportunity costs, which you could be saving with a high-efficiency system. Give us a call today to schedule your free in-depth estimate, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Prescription opioids can be addictive and dangerous.
Opioid pain medication took everything that I had. Nothing mattered more than getting my fix. I was on the verge of being homeless. My house was being foreclosed on. Knowing that it could have been prevented makes it worse. It just takes one.
Prescription opioids. It only takes a little to lose a lot. Visit cdc.gov/RxAwareness.
Through their service, veterans have our backs. Now we should have theirs. Learn more at GotYour6.org.
This afternoon on the Hammer and Nigel Show, the latest on government shutdown. Rob Kendall will go off the rails, and it's my birthday today. Let the beer flow like wine.
We are back. I am Andrew Langer in for Tony Katz today. Joining us right now, she is the chair of education opportunity at the America First Policy Institute. Her name is Erica Donalds, and she's working on some really interesting stuff that is very near and dear to my heart. As I probably said on this show before, I came to my values, my beliefs about government and the relationship between a government and its citizenry, because I turned 5 in 1976. You can go ahead and do the math. And so during the bicentennial, and just consumed information about the American founding, saw the musical 1776, watched and can quote verbatim Schoolhouse Rock. But, you know, there's several successive generations that have lost all of that, and we're seeing it play out today. Erica, this is what this project, America 250 Civic Education Coalition, this is what you're working on, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We want the 5-year-olds of today to be equally excited about the America we love, American history, civic literacy, understanding the founding of our country, our Constitution, our rights as outlined in the Bill of Rights, which only 5% of Americans can name all 5 of those. So we have a lot of work to do, but we believe that if you know America, you love America, and the problem is they don't know it well enough. So we are promoting civic literacy, America First Policy Institute, in partnership with the Department of Education and 40 other coalition members.
You know, you talk about this. I was, as I'm sure you were, appalled. Thomas Jefferson came from Virginia. Thomas Jefferson went to my alma mater, the College of William and Mary. He then founded another university up the road, which we don't talk about. But Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration of Independence, wrote this document talking about the fact that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. 250 years later, Tim Kaine, the junior senator from Virginia, turns that on its head. This is an insane place for America to be, isn't it?
It is, and especially when, with the latest activities here in America, that 40% of young people think that violence in response to free speech is okay. And so we have a lot of work to do. That's why we have launched this coalition, and we are going on a 50-state tour.
Wow.
We're going to be holding patriotic events at K-12 and higher education institutions, bringing in people from around these states, local community members and groups to be a part of this and promoting civic literacy in our K-12 and higher education system, not just as a side project, right? Not a side note, but really a core part of the curriculum, learning the true history of our country and what makes America great.
Because we have flipped it on its head, where this stuff becomes ancillary and there is this focus on all of this other politically driven narrative, the 1619 Project, as you guys talk about here, and we lose everything else, right? Folks are free to sort of talk about the more shameful, the horrifying aspects of American history and the mistakes that were made and the fact that the founders were flawed, but that's not the central issue, right? This was my real problem, Erica. We're talking with Erica Donalds from the American First Policy Institute. My parents just went and saw Hamilton in the theaters a couple of weeks ago, the movie theater. And, I went and saw Hamilton, and it's brilliant to watch, and it's very exciting. But, Lin-Manuel Miranda distilled the American founding down to a bunch of psychobabble about how Alexander Hamilton viewed himself. And that's not what this was about. There were serious issues being discussed by serious men who had a serious grounding in this. This is what you are bringing in terms of this integration of civics education into these curricula, isn't it?
Yes, and our founders did not view America through the lens of the oppressed and oppressors. Right. And that's what the 1619 Project did. And we have to remember, we were all outraged when it was brought to light. It was being taught in thousands of classrooms for many years. And sometimes we find that they are still teaching in this manner. The CRT, behind the scenes. And so we have a lot of undoing to do with students who were taught this by people who are in authority in their lives, their teachers. Sometimes their parents were taught that way. And we need to undo that and let them appreciate, yes, we have overcome a lot in America, but this is the place where people go to achieve an American dream, home ownership, building a family, generational wealth, getting out of poverty like I did, like my husband did, because of hard work and opportunity that America provides for you. Those are the things that we want people to love about America, and love that we overcome those periods of time that none of us would like to relive.
And Erica, what I appreciate is, you do this work, and your husband, he takes a back seat to all of this. He's a bit of a wallflower, or no? I'm making a joke here, obviously.
Yeah. Well, yes, my husband, Congressman Byron Donalds, who's also running for governor of Florida, what he's doing is embodying the American dream. And the reason why he'll say this, he's a Republican, is because he read the Magna Carta. He read Law by Frederick Bastiat. He understood and looked back at political philosophy that built this amazing republic, the best experiment that man has ever known. And that is why he's so passionate, as well as I am, about civic literacy and understanding the Constitution and the founding of our country.
You and your husband have such a compelling story in this because, as you point out, and I used to talk about what the American dream meant. In fact, when the Tea Party movement was getting started, I did a couple of interviews with folks who were very anti-Tea Party. And I talk about the issue of empowerment and freedom. I mean, that's what the American dream is. It's about self-empowerment. And that's how I tend to view public policy. Does it empower people to act on their own behalf, or does it disempower them? But again, if you don't know what you don't know, how can you love America? If you can't agree on who we are as a people, how can we come together to solve problems? This America 250 Civic Education Coalition, this gets at that, doesn't it?
It does. And it's not just about learning history. It is about what our future is going to look like. In order to have a vitality as a nation and remain the leaders on the global stage, we have to unite as an American people. We are so segregated right now on political views, on our view of American history, that we cannot compete and be as one against our real enemies, which are outside of the United States, who would love to see us destroyed. We have to come together, and civic literacy, starting at the very bottom all the way through our education system, is what's going to do it.
In fact, I would dare say that it's our enemies who have worked very diligently to undermine our civics education, to turn us against each other, because if we are turned against each other, we cannot stand up to external threats, can we?
Absolutely. And you are right about that. We're not going to let it happen, though. The America 250 Civics Education Coalition is coming to a state near you, so be on the lookout for our events.
So where are you all going? What's first up? What are you teeing up, and how do folks find out more about this, Erica?
Yes. Pennsylvania is first up. We're almost going in the order of the joining the union, but America250civics.com is where they can get more information. Follow me at Erica Donalds. I'll be posting about it over the next year.
No, it is very exciting to say the least. The work you guys are doing at the America First Policy Institute, it's all very important. My question is, when are you coming to Virginia? I mean, yes, obviously, I'm filling in for Tony in Indiana, and that's important. But I want to know when you're coming, and when are you going to teach the folks at Colonial Williamsburg what they ought to be doing?
We will definitely let you know when we come there, and we will be in partnership with many state-level organizations that people are very familiar with, because this is going to be a team effort. All of us are Team America. We're going to make this country great again with Donald Trump at the helm, and it's going to be an exciting 250th celebration of the greatest country man has ever known. Well,
Erica, you and your husband are an amazing power couple. Wish both of you all the success. Thank you so very much for joining us today.
No, thanks for having me.
It's Erica Donald. She is the chair of education opportunity at the America First Policy Institute, the initiative on the America 250 Civic Education Coalition. You go and check that out. America250civics.com is the website. I got to tell you something. I thank my lucky stars that I'm in an America right now where Donald Trump is president, and I'm someone who was a Trump skeptic. Let me be really clear about that. And I don't have some kind of slavish devotion. But I will say I would much rather have Donald Trump president of the United States than Kamala Harris as America celebrates its 250th anniversary. I cannot wait for next year and all of the events that are going to happen. Listen, I'm excited the fact that Donald Trump's president as America returns to the moon. Listen, when we come back, Tommy Aiello from National Taxpayers Union. I'm Andrew Langer. This is Tony Katz Today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The parent team assembled. I'm Johnette Cruz. Here's what's trending at 12:30. The suspect charged in Charlie Kirk's assassination hires a legal dream team.
Rounding out the high-powered defense team for 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, Michael Burt, a death penalty specialist with 50 trials under his belt, including the Menendez brothers, convicted at second trial of murdering their Beverly Hills parents. The Utah court also approved California criminal defense lawyer Richard Novak and lead Utah lawyer Kathy Nestor, who defended the Utah mom accused of murdering her husband. Therese Crowley, Fox News.
Indianapolis leaders are expressing deep outrage following the latest arrest of a man with an extensive criminal record. Courtney Boose was arrested after police say he stabbed a 69-year-old man at a gas station in Lawrence earlier this week. The victim was taken to the hospital in critical condition and is still in recovery. Boose has a history of being arrested over 90 times in the city. I'm Johnette Cruz, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Football is back, and so are great hairlines. We Grow Hair Indy has helped former local professional football players get back in the game with full natural hair. You don't have to play pro ball to get pro-level results. Hey, it's Rob, and I knew I picked the right team when I needed a Hail Mary for my hair. I called We Grow Hair Indy. Whether you're tailgating, coaching, or watching from the couch, do it with confidence. Trade the sidelines for a hairline. Get back in the game at We Grow Hair Indy. Schedule your free evaluation today at WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com, or call 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. Enjoy being out and about this fall. Enjoy watching the games in person with your friends with confidence you haven't had in years. And you can do it with a trip to We Grow Hair Indy, 317-522-2995. 2995. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
Stuck in a job that just isn't getting it done? Maybe it's time to go for IT. Whether you're just starting out, switching careers, or a military veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you launch a rewarding career in IT in months. No prior experience needed. Why spend years getting a traditional degree when your future in IT can start right now? Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Your most powerful upgrade? Your career. Go for it. Go for IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Ready to build your custom dream home? Check out Joiner